sir. Yes, sir. What's going on around? Sunday. It is the Lord's Day. You know how we do. What's going on, people? See how my levels are sounding out here? Getting ready. Gerald Mack first in the building. What's going on? Salute the ILP. You already know. AKW, what's going on? Lydian Master, what's up? You know what I mean? Lord Metroid, I see you. Fun speculation. What's going on, brother? Texas in the building. What's going on? Hope you guys have a good show. I appreciate you, man. Much love on that for sure. I am Mike Tyson. We got Tyson in the building. Salute, Mike. Dev Mobile, what's going on, bro? Good to see you. Thank you, AKW, for the level check. You know how we do. Sunday, the Lord's Day. Getting ready, you know. This show, we got Rukari coming through. Addict coming through. You know what I'm saying? Solve coming through. Just got to make sure, see what's going on. King might be on vacation. You know what I'm saying? Well deserved. But, yeah, he would definitely be missed. But we're going to have a fun show. We got some surprises, some things. You know what I'm saying? Getting ready, a little Memorial Day weekend, right? So, just give you a little something. You know what I mean? We could have took the time off, but I know King definitely needed it. So we wanted to give him the time. But, yeah, we just got to do a little something. Get the legendary Rukari in here. Have some fun on the Sunday, the Lord's Day. Dallas, man, what's up? What's going on? I see you, brother. Mr. Ordinary, holla. Mexican Zoidberg, what's up? Awful Grim Bones, let's get it. IMAX, he said, what's up, Sunday? ILP Indy 500, F1. Oh, he a racer dude. Coca-Cola 600, Heaton 7. Les Seven. Okay. He ready. IMAX is ready. I like it. So, yo, we gonna go get Rukari up in here. And, yeah, he said David don't get, yeah. He chilling. He in the beach somewhere. He doing it real big right now. Oh, Englewood, Chicago in the building. Real console war. Oh, you a real He said, I'm outside. I'm a real Yo, that day, you gotta relax. You gotta relax with that day. Real console. Come on, man. Put the guns down. We're here for peace. Anyway, look. Hope we get everybody in the building, have a fun show, and I'm going to see y'all in a bit.
Hear ye, man. Welcome to the show. If you would not mind, go ahead and find yourself a spot, get comfortable, grab a snack, do all that good stuff that we need to do, and we're about to get started. It's not important who I am. What's important is that you are pulling up to the Iron Lords podcast right now as we speak, and I guess I'm here to keep you entertained until it's time to get this show started. So look. Y'all done messed up and turned me to an animal. And haters be swearing they real, but come to find out that they really mechanical. And yeah, I be eating these rappers, but that's all a part of me being a cannibal. And they say I'm better than money because you can bank on me being accountable. I know a million rappers that don't want to be on a song with me, that's understandable. I kill a beat and they want to compare me to Freddie and Jason. I'd rather be Hannibal. They be like, why use a video game? Just be original, y'all too dramatical. I know it's random, but I am addicted to flipping the sample and making it flammable. This is that yoga, fire, flame. They think it's arson up in the apartment, they call it department and I get the blame. Still I be running, collecting them rains. You just a target when I'm in the range. I was the hardest to start regardless back when you was messaging people on AIM. Check my vocals, all on Twitter, but I'm anti-social. Love my city, but I'm still bi-coastal. Let's switch that up.
What is you doing?
What I want to do.
Don't stop. Nah, that was dope.
I'm
Keep that going. Keep that going. Nah, go ahead.
Look, I guess you could say that I'm very spoiled. For them to be your dogs, they ain't very loyal. But I ain't gonna hold you, I ain't here to boil you. You ain't gotta say it, I'm embarrassed for you. Always been a nerd, never been a loser. Making Voltron with a gang of cougars. And I'm going places, better tell a Uber. Cause it's pretty hard to sleep on Freddy Krueger. Let's do that again. Hear ye, man. Welcome to the show. If you would not mind, go ahead and find yourself a spot, get comfortable, grab a snack, do all that good stuff that we need to do, and we're about to get started. It's not important who I am. What's important is that you are pulling up to the Iron Lords podcast right now as we speak, and I guess I'm here to keep you entertained until it's time to get this show started. So, look. Y'all done messed up and turned me to an animal. And haters be swearing they real, but come to find out that they really mechanical. And yeah, I be eating these rappers, but that's all a part of me being a cannibal. And they say I'm better than money because you can bank on me being accountable. I know a million rappers that don't want to be on a song with me, that's understandable. I kill a beat and they want to compare me to Freddie and Jason. I'd rather be Hannibal. They be like, why use a video game? Just be original, y'all too dramatical. I know it's random, but I am addicted to flipping the sample and making it flammable. This is that yoga, fire, flame. They think it's arson up in the apartment. They call it department and I get the blame. Still I be running, collecting them rings. You just a target when I'm in the range. I was the hardest to start regardless back when you was messaging people on AIM. Check my vocals, all on Twitter, but I'm anti-social. Love my city, but I'm still bi-coastal. Let's switch that up.
What is you doing?
What I wanna do,
Don't
man.
stop. Nah, that was dope.
I'm
Keep
just
that
super
going. Keep that going. Nah, go ahead.
Look, I guess you could say that I'm very spoiled. For them to be your dogs, they ain't very loyal. But I ain't gonna hold you, I ain't here to boil you. You ain't gotta say it, I'm embarrassed for you. Always been a nerd, never been a loser. Making Voltron with a gang of cougars. And I'm going places, better tell a Uber. Cause it's pretty hard to sleep on Freddy Krueger. Let's do that again. Hear ye, man. Welcome to the show. If you would not mind, go ahead and find yourself a spot, get comfortable, grab a snack, do all that good stuff that we need to do, and we're about to get started. It's not important who I am. What's important is that you are pulling up to the Iron Lords podcast right now as we speak, and I guess I'm here to keep you entertained until it's time to get this show started. So, look. Y'all done messed up and turned me to an animal. And haters be swearing they real, but come to find out that they really mechanical. And yeah, I be eating these rappers, but that's all a part of me being a cannibal. And they say I'm better than money because you can bank on me being accountable. I know a million rappers that don't want to be on a song with me, that's understandable. I kill a beat and they want to compare me to Freddie and Jason. I'd rather be Hannibal. They be like, why use a video game? Just be original, y'all too dramatical. I know it's random, but I am addicted to flipping the sample and making it flammable. This is that yoga, fire, flame. They think it's arson up in the apartment. They call it department and I get the blame. Still I be running, collecting them rings. You just a target when I'm in the range. I was the hardest to start regardless back when you was messaging people on AIM. Check my vocals, all on Twitter, but I'm anti-social. Love my city, but I'm still bi-coastal. Let's switch that up.
What is you doing?
What I wanna do,
Don't
man.
stop. Nah, that was dope.
I'm
Keep
just
that
super
going. Keep that going. Nah, go ahead.
Look, I guess you could say that I'm very spoiled. For them to be your dogs, they ain't very loyal. But I ain't gonna hold you, I ain't here to boil you. You ain't gotta say it, I'm embarrassed for you. Always been a nerd, never been a loser. Making Voltron with a gang of cougars. And I'm going places, better tell a Uber. Cause it's pretty hard to sleep on Freddy Krueger. Let's do that again. Hear ye, man. Welcome to the show. If you would not mind, go ahead and find yourself a spot, get comfortable, grab a snack, do all that good stuff that we need to do, and we're about to get started. It's not important who I am. What's important is that you are pulling up to the Iron Lords podcast right now as we speak, and I guess I'm here to keep you entertained until it's time to get this show started. So, look. Y'all done messed up and turned me to an animal. And haters be swearing they real, but come to find out that they really mechanical. And yeah, I be eating these rappers, but that's all a part of me being a cannibal. And they say I'm better than money because you can bank on me being accountable. I know a million rappers that don't want to be on a song with me, that's understandable. I kill a beat and they want to compare me to Freddie and Jason. I'd rather be Hannibal. They be like, why use a video game? Just be original, y'all too dramatical. I know it's random, but I am addicted to flipping the sample and making it flammable. This is that yoga, fire, flame. They think it's arson up in the apartment. They call it department and I get the blame. Still I be running, collecting them rings. You just a target when I'm in the range. I was the hardest to start regardless back when you was messaging people on AIM. Check my vocals, all on Twitter, but I'm anti-social. Love my city, but I'm still bi-coastal. Let's switch that up.
What is you doing?
What I wanna do,
Don't
man.
stop. Nah, that was dope.
I'm just
Keep
super
that going. Nah, go ahead.
Look, I guess you could say that I'm very spoiled. For them to be your dogs, they ain't very loyal. But I ain't gonna hold you, I ain't here to boil you. You ain't gotta say it, I'm embarrassed for you. Always been a nerd, never been a loser. Making Voltron with a gang of cougars. And I'm going places, better tell a Uber. Cause it's pretty hard to sleep on Freddy Krueger. Let's do that again. Hear ye, man. Welcome to the show. If you would not mind, go ahead and find yourself a spot, get comfortable, grab a snack, do all that good stuff that we need to do, and we're about to get started. It's not important who I am. What's important is that you are pulling up to the Iron Lords podcast right now as we speak, and I guess I'm here to keep you entertained until it's time to get this show started. So look. Y'all done messed up and turned me to an animal. And haters be swearing they real, but come to find out that they really mechanical. And yeah, I be eating these rappers, but that's all a part of me being a cannibal. And they say I'm better than money because you can bank on me being accountable. I know a million rappers that don't wanna be on a song with me, that's understandable. I kill a beat and they wanna compare me to Freddie and Jason. I'd rather be Hannibal. They be like, why use a video game? Just be original, y'all too dramatical. I know it's random, but I'm addicted to flipping the sample and making it flammable. This is that yoga, fire, flame. They think it's arson up in the apartment, they call it department and I get the blame. Still I be running, collecting them rings. You just a target when I'm in the range. I was the hardest to start regardless back when you was messaging people on AIM. Check my vocals, all on Twitter, but I'm anti-social. Love my city, but I'm still bi-coastal. Let's switch that up.
What is you doing?
What I wanna do.
Don't stop. Nah, that was dope.
I'm just
Keep that going. Keep that going. Nah, go ahead.
Look, I guess you could say that I'm very spoiled. For them to be your dog, they ain't very loyal. But I ain't gonna hold you, I ain't here to boil you. You ain't gotta say it, I'm embarrassed for you. Always been a nerd, never been a loser. Making Voltron with a gang of cougars. And I'm going places, better tell a Uber. Cause it's pretty hard to sleep on Freddy Krueger. Let's do that again. Hear ye, man. Welcome to the show. If you would not mind, go ahead and find yourself a spot, get comfortable, grab a snack, do all that good stuff that we need to do, and we're about to get started. It's not important who I am. What's important is that you are pulling up to the Iron Lords podcast right now as we speak, and I guess I'm here to keep you entertained until it's time to get this show started. So look. Y'all done messed up and turned me to an animal. And haters be swearing they real, but come to find out that they really mechanical. And yeah, I be eating these rappers, but that's all a part of me being a cannibal. And they say I'm better than money because you can bank on me being accountable. I know a million rappers that don't wanna be on a song with me, that's understandable. I kill a beat and they wanna compare me to Freddie and Jason. I'd rather be Hannibal. They be like, why use a video game? Just be original, y'all too dramatical. I know it's random, but I'm addicted to flipping the sample and making it flammable. This is that yoga, fire, flame. They think it's arson up in the apartment, they call it department and I get the blame. Still I be running, collecting them rings. You just a target when I'm in the range. I was the hardest to start regardless back when you was messaging people on AIM. Check my vocals, all on Twitter, but I'm anti-social. Love my city, but I'm still bi-coastal. Let's switch that up.
What is you doing?
What I wanna do.
Don't stop. Nah, that was dope.
I'm just
Keep that going. Keep that going. Nah, go ahead.
Look, I guess you could say that I'm very spoiled. For them to be your dog, they ain't very loyal. But I ain't gonna hold you, I ain't here to boil you. You ain't gotta say it, I'm embarrassed for you. Always been a nerd, never been a loser. Making Voltron with a gang of cougars. And I'm going places, better tell a Uber. Cause it's pretty hard to sleep on Freddy Krueger. Let's do that again. Hear ye, man. Welcome to the show. If you would not mind, go ahead and find yourself a spot, get comfortable, grab a snack, do all that good stuff that we need to do, and we're about to get started. It's not important who I am. What's important is that you are pulling up to the Iron Lords podcast right now as we speak, and I guess I'm here to keep you entertained until it's time to get this show started. So look. Y'all done messed up and turned me to an animal. And haters be swearing they real, but come to find out that they really mechanical. And yeah, I be eating these rappers, but that's all a part of me being a cannibal. And they say I'm better than money because you can bank on me being accountable. I know a million rappers that don't wanna be on a song with me, that's understandable. I kill a beat and they wanna compare me to Freddie and Jason. I'd rather be Hannibal. They be like, why use a video game? Just be original, y'all too dramatical. I know it's random, but I'm addicted to flipping the sample and making it flammable. This is that yoga, fire, flame. They think it's arson up in the apartment, they call it department and I get the blame. Still I be running, collecting them rings. You just a target when I'm in the range. I was the hardest to start regardless back when you was messaging people on AIM. Check my vocals, all on Twitter, but I'm anti-social. Love my city, but I'm still bi-coastal. Let's switch that up.
What is you doing?
What I wanna do.
Don't stop. Nah, that was dope.
Keep
that going. Keep that going. Nah, go ahead.
Look, I guess you could say that I'm very spoiled. For them to be your dog, they ain't very loyal. But I ain't gonna hold you, I ain't here to boil you. You ain't gotta say it, I'm embarrassed for you. Always been a nerd, never been a loser. Making Voltron with a gang of cougars. And I'm going places, better tell a Uber. Cause it's pretty hard to sleep on Freddy Krueger. Let's do that again. Hear ye, man. Welcome to the show. If you would not mind, go ahead and find yourself a spot, get comfortable, grab a snack, do all that good stuff that we need to do, and we're about to get.
And we are live. Iron Lord podcast
LordCognito here talking about the latest with Advanced GG. There's a lot of things going on with the new product line. Let's get right to it. So we got that focus line, y'all. This is that standard. This is what we use right now, kind of our caffeine substitute. And what we usually do right now when we're gaming, we don't use coffee anymore. We're utilizing its focus. On deck number 2, you already know this is my favorite right here, the energy line. You already know, birthday cake, one of my absolute favorites. Completely delicious. This is a pre-workout equivalent, and also doesn't use beta alanine, so you don't get the jitters and stuff like that. So it's really good for that. And then the new, we got that hydration line, y'all. This is really good for people who don't like caffeine, who want an electrolyte substitute, and it is really sugar-free, absolutely delicious. So you got your 3 choices. Once again, you know Cog Lover is sour. You already know, and we're doing this right now. So go get yourself to advancedgg.com. Use code IronLord on the checkout. This is something I use all the time. We got to support Advanced GG. Great products if you want to get your workout on. Even if you don't work out, you're just gaming, you need that focus. And again, the hydration line for those who don't want caffeine, no sugar, electrolytes, you're good to go. LordCognito here, Iron Lord Podcast. Peace.
I'ma just chill and watch them and eat snacks in the attic. I wanted to chill with the pack and be like a young wolf, but then they would mistake me for addict. If I can imagine it's cool to give you some advice, then invite your girl to your squadron. Cause if you don't give her that option, you gon' be single player like Sovereign. You gon' get tossed in the bushes by King David. Royalty and not a pretender. Detrimental to an elemental, what's an avatar to a knee bender? I gotta be me though. I know it's my destiny, word to Cognito. Who cares if you fly, if you still a mosquito? You swear you ain't stuntin', but really be Steve-O. You like to collect stuff and that's cool, but I got bad news. Even if you really was that dude, King David still be the king of the statues. Since a juvenile, I've been cursed with a curse to be musical. And if you hate it, we'll meet in the crucible. Other than that, then it's cool and it's beautiful. We let you know that your dreams are pursuable. Whatever you wanna do, then it's doable. If you got work on a Sunday, it's suitable. Cause you can listen to this in your cubicle on the Lord's Day. Woo. If you got work on a Sunday, it's suitable. Cause you can listen to this in your cubicle on the Lord's Day.
Let's get some level check right quick. Talk real quick. Solve. Let me see something. Let me see something move.
Hello.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right. Hear ye. And we are live. Welcome to the Iron Lords Podcast, LLC, and also live on lordsofgaming.net, episode number 259. And it's another glorious Sunday. We're back at the round table on the Lord's Day. I'm very excited about our special guest, and we've got PlayStation games on PC and mobile, Xbox turning down Marvel, and TCL mid-gen refresh leaks to discuss. So we gonna get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord who is not only a true ambassador for community management and interviews within games culture, but his unique skill set of hosting and entertainment always shine on the biggest stage. Introducing the senior community manager at Gamestop and former product marketing manager at Xbox, the Lord of all Seattle sports and Dragon Ball tattoos, whose shoe game has quietly leveled up as one of the best in gaming. Live from Washington and finally making his debut into the realm of the Lords, my man, Lord Rukari. How we doing, sir?
Man, all gas, no brakes. Like, golly. First of all, if I were 2 shades lighter, I'd be blushing right now. I feel bad because in my head,
I can see it in spirit. I can see it in spirit.
Yeah, right. And then second, I'm out here like, man, my shoe game ain't that crazy.
Nah, bro. I see you moving.
You got them Yeezys, Rukari?
No, none of that. None of this. See, that's just it. None of the heat. I just get what I want. And I'm public about it.
Yeah.
Down. How we doing?
I'm doing good, bro. Good to have you, man. Good to have you. So obviously, he was rocking out at PAX East, so it was good to see you working and stuff like that, doing your thing. But yeah, long overdue, man. Big fan. And what you been playing, man? What's been going on? What's the games been like for you?
Nothing. Warzone with, you know, I very much evolved into a social gamer throughout the years. We can blame the pandemic and all that, but I mean, I hop online when my buddies hop online. I do Destiny dailies every now and again. I'm finding my like sort of indie niche. Like I've been playing Pokemon Arceus just randomly at night, but it's like 30 minutes here and there. And then Warzone is the one where I still get the session.
Yeah, Warzone's cool, man. I got to get that going. They got new content coming, or what was you doing? You still waiting for the next joint? Because we already hear the rumors of the next iteration, so to speak.
Yeah, you know, really, again, it's about the friends. So if the friends jump online and say, we just playing this little mode, all right, let's do it. You know, get to hang out with the knuckleheads and do the thing. So the content, not to say the content can be stale, but it's never been about like Destiny. I'm definitely chasing the carrot, right? I'm like, I got to get this new exotic weapon.
That's
I got to go, you know, do this.
Yes.
Warzone is just everybody hops online. I'm like, let me hear the BS that my friends going to be spouting today. Let me see who's raging, who's doing this, and let's go get a couple of dubs.
No doubt that community battle royale.
Right?
No doubt. So you already know. We supposed to have 4 horsemen of gaming.
The 2 horsemen of the apocalypse are here.
We're missing 2 horsemen of the apocalypse.
One, we could wreak havoc, just the 2 of us.
Yeah. One is in the bushes, so we're gonna call him out. Lord Addict. I don't know what you was doing last night. We're gonna speak about that. Hopefully he joins in progress.
I mean, we can speculate, right?
We can speculate. And then one is legit on vacation. So salute to the king. He's out there moving and shaking right now, doing his thing somewhere on beaches of Aruba, somewhere sands. His beard. I was like, yo, what's the beard? Thing. I know he comfortable because the beard is just loose. He ain't care about the beard oil. You know he having a good time. He's not a care in the world.
Out there.
Salt and pepper. I was like, okay, I feel that, man. You all natural with it. You all natural.
Yeah. He deserved, well deserved. King only travels when he's with us.
No, fact, bro. King don't take no vacation. So salute to the king. Send some love to him. You know what I'm saying? Getting his rest and relaxation on. But we still have the most technical gaming lord, the solo gamer who lives for the single player selfish experience, and also the Sostradamus. Lord Rukari of the Iron Bank, my man, Mr. Sovereign. How we doing?
I'm good. I'm chilling, you know, just waiting one more week and I'm out of here.
Yeah, so you get the move. The move's gonna be done.
Yes, thank God.
Nice.
I packed a month ago and here I am finally moving. So this is what happened. But
nice.
I need a little bump this morning. So
what you got? Oh, he got the powder. Put that up.
The sour.
Okay. Want to put that to the screen. So how, what was the cut like? How's it doing for you?
I didn't realize that the green screen.
Yeah, the green screen is killing you right now. But just for
what it was though. Everybody knew what it was.
He's doing that advanced GG sour. That's what we're doing.
I got
we pushing P. Let's go.
Apple, pushing P, sour apple, doing this thing. Yeah, it's sweet as hell because I have definitely more than 8 ounces of water in this water bottle, and
it's different.
Yeah, you know, we got to make up for King and Addict today. So you know, we gotta have some more energy. I am chilling, man. I haven't done much gaming because my consoles are already put away. I have Little Man out, but I haven't had a chance to. Plug it in. Exactly. So I haven't done a lot of that. I got some. I actually picked up Mario Golf, and I hadn't done that before. And so I started messing with that. You know, those Mario sports games are just cool and fun to play. So and it's funny. I've always seen golf as a game that it would be fun to play because I like the minutia of trying to get the ball in the hole.
Pause.
But watching it has never been something I wanted to do. So so Mario gives an extra layer of fun to that I can vibe with. So I'm doing that, and like I said last week, I've been doing since I don't have. Anytime I try to actually stop to read, being that I'm just I'm always up and out and about, I fall asleep. So I said, okay, audiobooks, right? So I told you guys I finished Reggie's book, and this past week I had started both of Jason Schreier's books and not finished them because again I just fall asleep.
Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, and the other one I forgot.
And Press Reset.
Yeah, Press Reset.
So I had both. I got both of them on Audible and went through both of them. Good reads, man. It gives you a lot of insight into, we sit here sometimes, we talk about, oh, this game, all delays. Dude, everything gets delayed, man. Hey, everything gets delayed. Everything is a hellhole until it's not. And that's just the nature of game development. And I think the more that people like us start really realizing that and incorporating that thinking into how we talk about games. Yeah. I just think in general, I think the environment will be better because everything is just a ball of flame until it's not. And until it's not is usually very close to release.
Very close to release. You'd be surprised how things come together last minute too.
Yeah. So I tell you, it very good read, just informative. It's just straight facts about a lot of stuff. He doesn't really, he has his thoughts about crunch and sort of the idea of the volatility in gaming, how people just have to be uprooted every couple of years because studios close and stuff like that. But
the Kurt Schilling joint was crazy. The Kurt Schilling, you read that one?
38 Studios.
Yeah, that was a crazy situation.
It was because he, Kurt Schilling approached that situation from the point like, I'm gonna apply what made me successful to this game studio.
Right.
And in theory, like he gave them.
Bro, they was balling. You see the perks
balling.
Yeah, I was
and
like,
he didn't realize. He just didn't understand the dynamics of what it took to really make a game. And and then he started sort of interjecting himself into the development process and be like, oh, this would be cool. Like, let's just add flying mounts to this game.
That'll be easy.
Yeah, it'll be easy. Things like that. So it's a very interesting read because it just gives you insight into a lot of stuff that a lot of us assume when we talk about this stuff. That's a fact. Yeah, it's better to be well informed. So that's what I've been doing.
No doubt.
Hey, I did not expect to be out here buying books, but now I'm like, those sound.
Nah, they're good reads.
Good reads, bro.
They're very good reads because they give you insight. It's 38 Studios. What the heck else? All the stuff that went down with Hangar 13, the Mafia people, the BioShock, so Irrational Games. Yeah. A lot of stuff that, if you recall, there was a point. There was this point in time. It was just like studios were closing like left and right, and a lot of it just had to do with kind of authorship, sort of taking over the game development process in a way that sort of blew things out, and there was no sort of direction and sort of finite points to things, and it's just a very interesting thing because when you start looking at how things are trending now. You look at Ken Levine. Ken Levine's newest game still has not come out. And we're going like 8 years or something like that.
That's a good point.
So it's one of those things where it just gives you a lot of insight onto, wow, I assumed this, and it's just not the case at all.
No, real talk. Definitely a good read. Definitely, I caught that up for the Destiny stuff just to see how that came together as well. That was
yes.
Really good. No doubt. So that's it, Saul. That's pretty much it.
That's it, man. That's pretty much it.
No doubt. And of course, we have the gaming ninja himself, the Shinobi, LordCognito, spreading that realness in the realm of our ILP, not telling you what you want to hear, what you need to hear. Shout out to Mr. Matty Plays. Defining Duke should be up now on YouTube for Last Stand Media. We had a good talk about whether Game Pass should be canceled or not. The streets are talking. It's crazy. People yelling out. Rukari rolled his eyes.
Streets are talking out their rear end.
The Twitter streets is hot. Everybody got a spicy take about this. I definitely was a little spicy this one, so go check that out. I had a lot to say there. I have more to say later here. But go check that out. We also talked, acquisition talk, all that stuff. Shout out to The Last Word. Ebontis, Ty Guy, Travis talking that Destiny Talk Season of the Haunted. We've been talking about that, how we feel, likes, dislikes, you know what I mean, and what's going on there. And then, as far as me, it's been, Destiny season started that. I haven't done the new dungeon yet. I got to check that out. People have been talking, that's good. So I got to see. And then on my VR game, getting Demio ready because, we got new stuff coming, new content coming. I'm absolutely in love with that game. New adventure as well as looks like a new character in the game coming. So I want to get prepped for that. But that's what I got right now. So I was going to do the subscriber of the month and then, or you want to do
real quick before we go to subscriber of the month, in the spirit of King's absence, let's talk quickly about fights last night.
Oh, my bad. Yes. In the spirit of King, combat talk. Yes. Shout out to Javante, right?
Tank Davis versus Rolly Romero. There was a lot of talk going into this fight. Rolly is the young up and comer, very strong,
big boy,
bigger dude than Tank, and it's very good to see Tank sort of get past that early sort of hubris point when you're young and you just think he's called Tank for a reason, right?
Run through.
You can see he was very much a more seasoned, measured fighter. He realized that Rolly was a bigger dude than him. And one thing that I learned from wrestling is that when you're wrestling a dude that's bigger than you, because a lot of times I would go into matches where dudes were my weight class, but it was, 150 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, it's different.
I wasn't that. So it's like, when somebody shoots in on you, they tell you, you sprawl, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of times, the best thing you can do if you're fast and you're very good, and I was, I wasn't that. But if you can catch that guy's momentum moving forward and like use a whizzer or something to use his momentum against him and put him on his face, that's what the smaller guy has to do. Use the guy's forward movement, his momentum against him. And that's exactly what Tank did yesterday. It was reminiscent of, the Ricky Hatton check hook with Floyd. Or Manny Pacquiao and Marquez.
And Marquez when he ran it, because this dude ran into the joint.
He literally ran into a punch that it was like a quick check hook that he kind of moved out the way, put it right in his face, boom, and that was it. And that smart fighters, do that. And again, sometimes you look at Tank, you're like, oh man, he's not focused like that. But Tank, he's been learning, and he's definitely a veteran now. And you could see that in his movements and how measured he is. He doesn't make a lot of stupid mistakes. And shout out to him, because King predicted that he would go down because he wanted to see something.
King wanted the upset. He would have played.
He wanted the upset. But I didn't like the fact, Rolly, don't do that.
Come on, take your L like a man.
Take your L like a man.
You know what I'm saying? Go get interviewed. Don't run, decline the interview, because you were doing a lot of talking, bro. Like you were doing
you were a lot of talking.
Yeah.
So, but he was definitely the biggest puncher that Tank has faced.
Yes.
And so far, he passed that test. But there are some dudes, like shout out to the Logic Wins in the chat, Teofimo, Shakur, Cambosos. There's some dudes up and coming that again Tank has to show that sort of that veteran sort of guile and be able to sort of. I
gotta get Logic in the chat. He said it's an early stoppage though. What? Did you see that boy's legs?
Dude, he was still dizzy walking back to the locker room.
That boy legs doing a Harlem shake when the ref gave him so much time. His legs was like, nah, fam. My mind wanted, but my body said no.
There was no. Did you see? There was no argument.
There's no argument.
Usually when you're like, no, I can go. There was no response because he wasn't there.
Yeah, if that ref would have let him back in there, that'd have been a body in the street. There'd have been blood on his hands.
He needed help getting back to the locker room. So no.
Oh no! See, Logic keeping it real. He said, "My bad, I got a rep for my Cubano." That's what it is. He could have still fought. Shout out Cuba in the house. I respect it.
Live to fight another day.
Live to fight another day, brother. We need your brain cells, please. So anyway, but yeah, man, great fight. Check that out. And yeah, man. Real quick, while you queue up, it's that time of the month. You know what we do. LordsOfGaming.net has been blessed. Some tremendous writing talent. Shout out to all the scribes. Had a great LogNet meeting yesterday with the entire team. A lot of new additions, a lot of hungry people, for the team, just making content. And we moving and shaking, man. So we got to celebrate the team. But we do want to celebrate one particular writer who kind of went above and beyond in the month of May. My brother has been killing it with the Lord's Minute with King on pop culture. And I think he had like a She-Hulk one that they did. It actually was so good that Attic put it up on ILP, and it did well for us. So salute to him. He always does good Destiny coverage, and he's just always in the game, man. Good combination of video production as well as audio stuff. So we proudly present the winner of the Lord Dizzy Lognet Scribe of the Month to my man, the Prince, Lord Ty Swinson. What's going on, bro? Now, I know he could not be here to accept his award. We have to do it like the Oscars. He could not be here to accept his award.
Ty is killing it.
Ty's killing it.
Killing it. Like, Ty has an entire wardrobe of Teespring stuff at this point.
He's killing it. And it's to the point, like, I want to be clear, though. These awards are competitive. You know what I'm saying?
We got very much every month. Yes.
Shout out to the editorial team. Shout out to everybody, that's been reviewing the work. It's not easy because we got talent, bro, and it's always close. But yeah,
a lot of people in there hustling, man. I cannot stress how grateful we are for the work you guys do, because again, it's from the heart. Nobody's getting paid.
Yeah.
It's just for the passion of the work, and you know, and to be honest, man, a lot of times people get this they get a little bit sort of disgruntled by the fact that, you know, you're not getting paid, you're not IGN yet, or whatever the case may be. But it's just for the love and the passion of doing it.
Start somewhere, brother. And the key thing is giving people opportunity, almost like, you know,
to get their voice out
the
there.
AAA, AA call up. You know what I'm saying? And we've given people that opportunity. We have gone on to move on to Windows Central. That's gone on to move on to an IGN and stuff like that. So, you know, look, we love what we're doing, and we got to salute our team. Shout out to Lord Ty. He's probably chilling on vacation right now, but
well deserved as well.
Make sure you hit up Soft, get your swag, get your LogNet ILP free stuff from the shop, whatever you need, bro. We got you. We got you. Let's get these super chats in there. Let's get take care of Rukari.
Bet, no doubt. So we got start off. Member for 2 months, Real Console Warrior. Shout out to you, sir. Put the crest in the chat.
He's the real
console warrior.
The other dudes is fraud. I'm that guy.
I'm the real fanboy here, damn it. Then we got the homie God's Hitman, $2 super chat, putting it down for the Lord, baby.
He bodying people for the Lord. Oh, Lord. Doing too much, man.
Xbox tweeted Scalebound. Why?
Really?
Did they?
Did they?
Oh, hell no. Oh, man.
Somebody check that. Somebody check that.
Let's make sure that's a real tweet.
Make sure that's official. I don't know about that.
Make sure it doesn't say xbox.org.
Yeah. Yep.
Then we got Render, $2 super chat. King got flown out by Phil Spencer.
Yeah, King with the dominance right now, chilling.
Then we got the homie Hargeet Shani, member for 12 months. Thank you, sir.
Salute, brother.
Salute to half the Lords this fine Sunday. No King with all these Xbox stories. Man, enjoy the R&R King. Welcome to the realm, Rukari. And maybe we should fix the spelling for his name. We did that already.
Yes, we did that. Saul quickly corrected me. I don't know what I was doing with the YouTube.
Yeah. Yes, Rukari, for a moment that you were
don't even worry about it.
You were Rakiri for a minute.
Damn.
You know what?
Listen, man.
With this name, anything that start with R and sound remotely close.
He's like, it's close enough again.
You used to it. No, my bad.
I ain't that diverse, man. I'm used to it.
I was up late last night.
Came in and did this one. They'd be like, you know, Devon Cooper here, Sam Wildman here,
Rikishi here.
No, it would just be the pause.
It'd be the
looking
pause.
at the thing, and you'd see them thinking. I'd be like, "That's me.
That's me.
That's me.
That's me. I'm here."
No,
So don't worry about it.
Love.
No, we got a couple more that came in. We got Big Mad Mo, member for 23 months. Shout out to you, sir. Thank you, brother. And we got Gaming Forte, $5 super chat. Work is more bearable when the Lords can help you through your day. Have a great show, gentlemen. Thank you, my brother.
Oh, that's fellow Gamestop in the building. Gamestop manager, Detroit in the building. What's going on, Forte? What's going on?
And we got JD Gamer, $2 super chat. Good day, Lords. Hit that like button, folks. Yes, hit that like button. We got 320 watching right now.
Hit that like button. Yo. Shout out to Asa. He said someone retweeted the Scalebound thing from 2015. So they pulled up a 2015 Xbox tweet talking about it like it's just popping. Okay, I see what's going on.
You see how it goes.
So we all set, sir?
Yeah, we're caught up.
Cool. Let's get into it. So you already know that Rukari's been patient. We've got into what everybody's been playing, but we got to focus on Lord Rukari. His video game system history, his journey into hosting at Xbox, and of course what led him to the senior community manager at GameStop. So Lord Rukari, let's start from the beginning, man. What were some of the first video game systems you had, and what got you into gaming?
I mean, it was just the thing that you did, right? First system that we had at the house was a Nintendo, like the OG NES. But my pops was big on Pac-Man, Galaga. What was the top-down little airplane shooter? Whatever was in the laundromat. That's what we played.
Top-down, 1943.
Yeah, I think it was 1943. I mean, I never knew the name. I just knew I was like, hey man, let me hold the quarters. I'm gonna be over here, and he'd be next to me playing Pac-Man. I'd be playing that. So gaming was always just, you know, I didn't have to grow up in a time where gaming was not around. You know, it was becoming the hype thing, and then I think I was 6 years old at my birthday, and I remember we were at Skate King, this little place, a little roller skating rink out here, and they had, this is how long ago this was, they had Super Mario Brothers on the arcade machine. Like,
wow.
Like you could play it at the little, and it was it was like a pole with like a little TV looking screen, almost like the same ones they had at McDonald's, sitting on the pole, and you'd play there. And then I remember sitting there eating my cake. I was mad as hell because there was, I see the picture in my head. It said, you know, happy birthday, daddy's big boy. And it was a Ninja Turtle on it. I'm just setting the how old I am. So Ninja Turtle on it, and he's got blue right here, but he's holding size. And I was like, "Hey, yo, like, what is this?"
He got you the aftermarket Ninja Turtle.
Oh man, the bootleg turtles.
I was like, "Who did this?" Anyway,
Samurai tortoises. That's what he got.
Yo.
So the box came out about yay big, and it was the NES, the double pack, right? The cartridge that had Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt on it, and it came with a little gun too, and that's all she wrote. We would just play that all the time.
Nice.
Ended up picking up Double Dribble and
Double Dribble.
Double Dribble was the game.
Go.
Yeah.
That's
it. Just kept playing.
So NES, whatever. So then from there, like with the NES, did you like kind of just stay in the ecosystem for a while, or were like other systems continually introduced to the house?
I can't remember. So my brother's 12 years older than me. I can't remember if he took the NES or if I got to keep it. But it wasn't long. Like if I got that in '92 when I'm about 6, I mean SNES ended up coming out, right? I don't know if we had one. I don't know what happened to the NES, but I do remember actually it was in like 94, 95.
Let's go.
I'm at this like Supersonics season ticket holder party because this is where we get into weird stuff.
Let's go.
My mom used to date Sam Perkins.
Wait. Sam Perkins?
Yeah.
The
I
Sam
still talk to him
Perkins?
all the time. Yeah.
Game 1 versus the Bull? Yeah. What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wild, right? This was still wild that I still get to talk to him, but she was going to hang out with him.
Okay.
This is the crazy. Their first date was the night that Sonics lost Game 5 in the playoffs to the Nuggets, and Dikembe's on the ground.
Dikembe's on one of the greatest upsets y'all was up to.
Yeah. Oh my God. So I wasn't old enough to understand that part of it. I was just sad the Sonics lost. But she went to this charity event, and it was at this little pool hall down here.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get in. I couldn't get in because, or she couldn't either, because you had to purchase a ticket to the event to go in. And she's like, that's not why we're here. Anyway, they ended up purchasing a ticket. I had to play pool against Nate McMillan. I ended up beating him. Who's this kid in here, 9 years old, beating the Sonic? And they were like, we're doing this video game thing. And I promise it's going to come around about.
Let's go.
And I was like, well, what do you get? Or what do you mean this video game thing? It's like, we want to hook you up with a couple of video games. I'm like, cool. It was NBA Live 94 and NBA, Live 95, Madden 95.
Yo, hold on. Let me stop.
December of 94.
Let me start. This is real sports talk now. Live 95, what is it? Kind of not isometric, and like the diagonal one. That was like 95.
Oh, that was like 98.
Oh, that was
95 was still
side to side,
up and down. Who was on it? Was it Shaq and Nick Anderson?
I can't remember. It's been so. I just remember 95 being like one of the classic ones, though. You know what I mean? We got to Google that.
No, it was Shaq and Hakeem.
Shaq and Hakeem. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And Live 95 was still what's isometric.
It was, right?
Oh, it was. You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
It was isometric pixels.
Right. Yeah. 95 was a big one, man. That was a big one. What? So they gave you those?
Yeah, but they gave them to me on an SNES, and I remember being like, "Yo, Genesis is coming." I snuck because this was December 21st. I snuck and saw that I'm getting a Genesis. I low-key stole them. Don't get me wrong. They weren't looking, and I put the SNES copies back, and I grabbed them for the Genesis.
Nice.
Wait a minute. You did the swap. You did the console version swap out.
Hey, and now that I got a son that's 9 years old, I'm like, this boy is terrible at lying. And I think back, I was like, I probably was too. Like they probably were watching me, like, what is he doing?
Yeah, you swear you a genius, but you know how it goes.
Listen, man.
So that's when I got my console. Like there was no older brother in the house anymore. He had long since graduated, got out of there. Genesis was my first one, hands down.
Let's go. Let's talk some Genesis talk right here. Let's give flowers. I personally think Genesis Dreamcast is to me like their pinnacle of what they could be. But as far as what was actually successful for them and the run that Genesis had, and being you're a sports guy kind of like me, people don't realize, like you said, you made a key point. Genesis was the de facto sports console between the two because I remember the EA ports just ran better. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it be the Lakers versus Celtics, NBA Live, all the stuff just ended up running better. So like, give me some key Genesis titles that had you.
What had me? What's funny is I remember one of my first games was this Power Rangers fighting game. Then I got NBA Jam, NBA Jam TE, College Slam. What else did we have on there? There was a game called Super High Impact. I don't know if you remember that. It was like NFL Blitz before NFL Blitz. Yeah.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah. With crazy announcers and all that. It was Blitz. It was if oh God, why am I forgetting Bo Jackson? What's the game? What's the football game? The OG.
The OG was Tech Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Tecmo
So it was
Bowl,
like Tecmo Bowl sort of look, like the way they lined up on the field,
Yes.
but with NFL Blitz style gameplay.
Oh,
Not
okay.
3D, but like that sort of look. What else did I play? Shinobi was one. Sonic. I was terrible at those games though. It was a lot of NBA Jam and a lot of College Slam, the NBA and NFL, like the sim type games. And then my boy up the street, he had Sega Channel.
Let's go.
He was rich, paying that $50 a month to go play Echo the Dolphin. So I'd always be at his house playing whatever I could.
Fire. So, did you have Sega Channel? I don't remember.
Nah, I come to your house.
Yeah, you came to my house. We had
My mom was like, "What? What? You insane?"
A month?
Yeah, the most I had was X Band when that was like their first introduction. You put that little contraption on top of the Genesis, and you be able to, and you had your little modem, and you try to play. Just make sure your moms ain't on the phone. You know what I'm saying? All live versus somebody. Well, okay, so Genesis. Okay, so that's your console. So then from Genesis, like, where did you move on to?
What was next? All right, then, it makes sense that I work at GameStop. Now, I want to say it was something with like Funko Land back in the day. And I can't remember. I know my parents had to take me, but I ended up jumping back and forth between SNES and Genesis a couple of times. Like, I really fell in love with Super Mario World. And I didn't spend a lot of time with SNES. I mean, you guys will understand this one. I don't remember if I had the consoles or if the neighborhood had the consoles. Because we lived in that sort of neighborhood where if one person had it, you just brought it to the Boys and Girls Club or the Y, and we all had it. So we would trade and flip-flop back and forth and play whatever we could. But then it turned into... Funny thing, we talk about Sam Perkins and that. I remember being at his house and he was like, "Yo, you ever check out this thing called the PlayStation?" And I was like, I'm like, "That's that boy that used CDs?" I was like, "Oh, hell no, that's like $500." And so, we jumped into the next gen stuff. I ended up getting an N64. In '98, whenever it came out, like 2 or 3 months later. I think it came out in September or October. I got it for Christmas, maybe that year or the next year. But that was the next console, and then it's just been everyone since.
Yes.
Like, Funko Land, GameStop, EB, whatever became a thing where I was like, I'm gonna just go trade and flip flop and get this one.
No, it's real, man.
What were the standouts on the N64 for you?
Super Mario 64 was the one. Star Fox, I still love Star Fox to this day. NBA Inside Drive.
Inside Drive. Yes.
10 frames per second.
Yeah, 10 frames.
Yes.
What else? I'm trying to think of what else.
None of the wrestling games, because we were big into wrestling games.
You do any of the wrestling games? The THQ joints?
So those were the ones, we talk about the friend. My friends owned them.
Got you.
I never did.
Got you.
So, hey, get this. I spent years. My favorite job was working on Killer Instinct, right? I grew up to that point hating fighting games. Because I just never owned them, and your boys were playing Mortal Kombat in the house, and there's 10 people in there, and you lose real quick.
And then you got to go to the that rotation take long, bro.
Man, forget this game.
You're always the one giving up the sticks.
Come see me on NBA Jam. I'm never giving up the sticks. So, no, I never jumped into the wrestling games or things like that because I never had them. Like I remember that. What was the WWF one that had the black cartridge?
Yes.
All those things. I was like, nope. I played Turok. Played a bunch of Turok.
Oh yeah, Turok was awesome.
That's where I found my love of shooters. GoldenEye was another one.
Perfect Dark.
Yep, Perfect Dark was on there too.
Now you saying a lot of sports, but we got to see where were you at with Madden? But how important was Madden to you, or if was it important, not important to you?
Madden. Let's see here.
Any Maddens over the years, or you just really didn't rock with Madden too tough?
I would play them all, and then like '95, you just be the Cowboys and run the 4 verticals, or you run Hail Mary. And Michael Irvin gone. Yeah, you just run streaks and they gone. It wasn't. Again, I'll reference the Section 8 type neighborhoods and whatnot, and getting all the kids together. You had to play things that were quick, fast, right?
Right.
It wasn't Madden, it was Blitz.
Got you.
It was something where you got like 4 2-minute quarters. 4 people could play.
Yes.
2 were getting off. You know, Tony Hawk was a big one too, because again, 4 people go at once, 2 minutes, rotate.
Good point.
So Madden wasn't really there, and in the same vein, NBA games weren't really there until about 2010. They just had to be arcadey. If they were arcadey and you could do it quick, cool. If not,
got you. Because then everybody could kind of get a rotation. Got you. I feel you.
To roll back for a second to the Genesis, did you ever play Joe Montana Sports Talk Football?
No.
No,
that might have been before him. Yeah, that might have been before.
Yeah, that's true. It was to me that was it was side scrolling.
Yes,
but it was one of those. There was no license, but the idea that you had a play-by-play commentator, no matter. I mean, he was very robotic, and the plays every time you made a play, it would zoom in on the pick, so you could like if you were running the ball in with the running back, like it would zoom in on you, and there was slow motion where you could see the jukes and you could see it was like damn Genesis.
It was like what's it called when you dunk? It was like
like you know when you get super. But the thing, the thing about it that Saul was also talking about is that like that was the first time we really heard commentary in a game.
Yes.
Right. And now, granted, if you look back at it now, it's very robotic. Montana with the pass to
with the pass.
First down. You know what I'm saying? But we were just blown away that the game was talking. Like it was just revolutionary for its time. And to Saul's credit, like I said, when they zoomed in the graphical fidelity, we like,
oh my
how
goodness.
big the sprites are. Oh my God.
And you could see all the animations. I'm like, wow, they really put a lot of work into this non-licensed game.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, for sure.
And for baseball, they had the same too.
Yeah. No doubt. So
that reminds me on the 64 and on the SNES, Ken Griffey Jr.'s winning run.
Ken Griffey, yes.
That's Seattle
I would cheat. Oh, that was Ken Griffey Jr.'s winning run. But so on the SNES version, right, they had 2 codes because they had 8 players that were in the home run derby. So first code that you would enter is the fast running.
Okay.
So you had to actually press pause to enter the cheat though. So I'd be playing next to somebody and I'd be like, hey, what'd you say, Floyd? And I'd pause the game real quick and turn and put in the code and come back and bunt. And dudes would be getting mad like, why can't I ever throw him out? And the dude would take off like, was it Kenny Lofton? Just take off. And then I would do that until there was a second cheat in that game to where you'd hit an automatic home run so long as it was one of the people that was in the home run derby.
Wow.
Same thing. I would just make sure I got the bases juiced. You know, take a couple of outs to not get too suspicious.
Yeah, that's what
like,
yo, so wait, you mean to tell me the cheat would allow to be in competitive play? Like you could do this to the
competitive play. There was just the game.
Just the game, yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Wow, I never knew this. I never knew this.
No esports rules. It was just he was just pulling a fast one on them, be like, hey, yo.
Was there like a sound indicator that that you knew that you just okay?
This is when cheats were tough too. You didn't know until you actually got up there that it had to happen.
That is
so you really, I mean, so what was the button combination? I'm not the actual. Was it a long combination of buttons?
It wasn't like 003 656. Oh, I'm forgetting Mike's, but it wasn't that long. But it was probably about 5 or 6 buttons, a couple of directions, and a couple of buttons on the.
So you had to really pull that off while they were just distracted for a couple of seconds.
Hey, that's all it took was a couple of seconds. Just pause. Hey, never mind. I thought he called me.
Yo, I love it. I never knew about this. This is new to me. I'm gonna look that up. So the Ken Griffey joint, salute, no doubt. So you go through all of that. I know we moved forward. You mentioned Sam Perkins in the PlayStation stuff like that. Also want to know, did Dreamcast get in the mix for you as well before we get to PlayStation?
Okay. Yeah. What was it? $99.99. I remember this is where I learned about credit cards and all that. I was like, how do I buy this? Oh, it's letting me order. And I'm gonna pay with a money order. I wonder if they're gonna ship it first. Nah, son.
That's where you learn about tax. Like, I got the $199, but what's this tax thing?
Yes, I'm in 8th grade. Like, I need this, but again, I got lucky. My parents knew I was gonna, interested in it, and I got one for Christmas.
Nice.
And that off the bat, NFL 2K. First thing I did was went and made my little 8th grade football team, and we all had blacked out visors because you could do it. Right? I created my team, the Greenwood Spartans. Put our visors on. Okay. And then what else did I get? Sonic Adventure. That was That's the one. I liked Sonic before. I would play Sonic 2, Sonic 3 on the on the Genesis, but Adventure was too fun.
Yeah.
And then Power Stone. This is the first time I got into a fighting game, but because it was a 4-player, like kind of Royal Rumble type
kind of free for all type thing.
Yeah. And then those are my joints on there. You remember the demo discs, right? Remember going to Pizza Hut and you get that demo disc?
Demo disc.
Yeah. So that's where I first picked up Tony Hawk.
Okay.
Was on that, and I played that demo disc till like the little sheeny stuff on the front came off. And I was like, all right, I'll go buy the game.
Yo, Rukari, demo discs were everything back in the day, bro.
Oh my God.
Like,
I paid $10 for a magazine so I could get the demo disc.
Oh,
Tips and Tricks magazine.
Yeah. Tricks.
Get that demo disc.
Demo disc. Shout out to Ryan McCaffrey, OXM magazine back in the day. I remember that. Man, demo disc really, that was the thing. That was, if you're from that era, like that was the you cherish that, especially if it was a game you were looking forward to and anticipated. Really, really cool. So then you move on, get that PlayStation, any standouts from the PlayStation that you remember? CD console.
Why am I forgetting the name of the snowboarding game? Because that was the first.
Cool Borders?
Cool Borders was that was a fun one. Jet Moto was another one that I played.
Love Jet Moto.
Jet Moto is fire. Yes.
Oh, what else did we play? All right, so this is gonna sound wild, but we ended up modding our PlayStation, and I played the hell out of DDR.
Whatever you talking about modding PlayStations?
Yeah,
we never did that.
So the statutes and limitations is up, Soph. You could talk about it, Soph.
Revolution to our,
DDR.
Yeah, that was the one. What else? It was
any Ridge Racer, any, let me see.
We did some Ridge.
Tekken. We need like fighting games.
Yeah. Which one?
Little fighting driving game, Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal. Shout out, we had Jaffe on, the legend. Yeah.
See, and look, this was the tough part about all these things is back then I had all the time in the world to play games and none of the money. So
yes.
There were just a few that I really played.
Good point.
And if it wasn't the demo disc, it was, I had like 3 to 5 a console. Once we get past 2004 and I get out of high school, then we really gonna jump into some games.
Woo!
But PlayStation, it was
let's go.
Kind of just whatever was out, whatever we could all play. I mean, it was still like the Blitz 2000s and things like that. You start to explore your buddies that get into cars, and all of a sudden you're playing Gran Turismo at their house.
Gran Turismo changed the game.
I had the same buddies that had like the wrestling games. They'd be over there playing Final Fantasy, and I'm like, all right, you go ahead. I'll be over here playing whatever.
Yeah, it reminds me. That's me. Dude. They want to get the XCOM off, and I'm like, all right, I'll be over here.
But it was still a lot of. Man, I was heavy sports until I got out of high school, just because that's all I knew.
Right. Nice. So at one point, there was Rukari, the potential player, sports athlete track at one point, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. We will get to that. So you continue on, and then from there, is it just like every console going on from PlayStation? I'd also like, when did Xbox come into the picture for you?
So I got my first Xbox in 2003.
Okay.
It wasn't 2001. I wasn't aware. Boys and Girls Club got one, so we were close enough to Microsoft. I won this little program called Youth of the Year.
Okay.
And it was a Boys and Girls Club thing. I never realized we were at-risk youth. Like I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I knew it was a thing, but I was like, we're not at risk. What you mean? Until
that's what's up.
Until now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, what the hell? How did we make it? But I see where we could have turned left and not been, doing what we're doing today. Anyway, They put on all these programs. Microsoft sponsored it. I won Youth of the Year for my club. Went and competed in the county. And part of the sponsors' prizing was for the 12 kids that made it to the county level. They all got Xbox bundles. Wow. So I remember we had that, but in the months before, this guy came in. He's like, "You ever heard of this game called Halo?" I'm like, "Nah, what's Halo?" Yeah, that was a wrap. That could be a whole 2-hour. That's a 2-hour
podcast by itself.
Yeah. But yeah, we got that Xbox bundle, and I had NFL Fever.
Let's go.
Fusion Frenzy.
Yes.
Halo was in there. It was already it's not platinum hits, but whatever it was. But everything was in there, and then that was the one where I was really into gaming, if you will. Access to more consoles, more games. I was actually working summer jobs and whatnot, so I had money to buy things.
Fire.
Whatever came out, I was sort of playing Tony Hawk, American Wasteland. No, that was later. That was 2004.
Okay.
What was 2003? There was Thug. Tony Hawk Underground came out.
Yes.
And I still love Tony Hawk to this day. So there was just a lot of stuff. Again, still sports and party heavy. But that's really where I was like, all right, this is this is a console that I truly love.
Yeah. Bro, nah, salute. I mean, man, just to hear the story of how you got connected to the Xbox ecosystem and the program and stuff like that, absolutely fire. And then, like, how did you carry that heavy system home? That system was big, bro.
I'm not a little dude.
Oh, I got you. He's like, yo, I'm outside.
It's true. He's like, I got this. Yeah, don't worry about this.
In my head, that's just what I could do. And I was like, all right. But again, we would bring it to the Boys and Girls Club. Actually, my first Xbox got stolen from the Boys and Girls Club. I know, wow. Terrible. But my buddies came through and got me one, a replacement. That's how I got that crystal green one. But yeah, we would always just. I had the console and the sports games. A couple of guys had a couple of random games, and we would just bring that Xbox and play all day, all night. I guess it was better than us being out in the streets doing other dumb stuff. But yeah, the staff used to stay with us sometimes. Like we would do late night till midnight. Wow. We're not leaving there till 2 a.m.
Fire.
That's funny. That's us. That's crazy. It's us, but it's different because it's at the Boys and Girls Center. But it's like it's what we were doing, like playing till 2 a.m. And one thing that really resonated with me that you said is just the fact that you're an at-risk youth, as we were, but you don't realize it because that's just your day-to-day. That's your life, right? We were used to the fact that our lives were dangerous day in and day out, right? And we did everything that we could do to sort of remove ourselves from it. We weren't blind to it, but at the same time, at my house, like there was never this feeling like we're lesser than, or there wasn't anything to sort of compare it to. So it's just my life, and that's it. And like you said, things could have gone left on a number of different occasions. And for us, like, again, we've talked about this, on this show for a long time, but it's the fact that we had that place to go to as a group to, Cog's house and stuff like that really allowed us to take a different path. But you don't, a lot of times you don't realize it. My family was very good. I would say Cog's family as well, about just, this is your normal life, and it's just there's nothing about it that kind of stands out as your day in and day out is super dangerous. And you just sort of get used to it, which I don't know how bad that is, but for us, it normalized things. It just normalized things.
Yeah, for us, it was more so like me kind of fighting with my mom, because it was just kind of like, you get mad when we out in the street, you get mad when we doing whatever, but now we're here playing games in front of you. You know what I mean? Yeah, we get rambunctious and they get competitive, but at least you know where we are. And that was the argument to kind of win it over. So yeah, now salute to you, man. That's dope. I love hearing stories like this. This man got that OG, and I'm assuming continue on with that 360.
Yeah, that's what popped up next. And so by this point, let me see, 2004 I graduated. 2004 I left high school, so that's when I did that adult bit. That's when you realize your money is your money. You can do what you want.
Yes.
Don't got to report to nobody else. I'm out the house. And yeah, 2005 the 360 came out. So I ended up buying 2 of them. Got lucky with the GameStop reservations. I got lucky. I was working T-Mobile in like sales, like selling phones and whatnot, and I was all of miles away from Microsoft. So everybody wanted data phones. This is right when the Sidekick was hot.
The Sidekick.
So I'm 18, 19, making more money selling Sidekicks than BlackBerry. So I'm like, hell yeah, I want 2 Xboxes. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, with the red ring of death, you needed it. So
this is before we knew that was coming.
That's true.
So I ended up selling one of them to, actually, his name was Mikey Moore, one of the guys that played on the Sonics, because I knew all of them and whatnot. And,
This is fire.
Yeah, so 360. Everything that launched, I bought. Because again, I didn't, I had disposable income. I wasn't saving. I wasn't thinking about nothing but me. My rent, oh my God. I remember my rent when I was 18 was $280.
Oh, man. I gotta come out there. I gotta come out to Washington, man.
No. It's definitely, my mortgage is not that. But, I was living with somebody before things got crazy, and what I didn't know was less than desirable area. Now it's a great area, but yeah, renting out an extra room from him, we paid $780 a month total. Oh, it was the life.
Oh, you was living. You was living.
Yeah, it was the life.
What you did with the 2? Where the second console went? That's what.
He said he sold it.
Oh, he sold the joint.
Okay. So I bought this for $400, and you mean to tell me I could sell it
So
for
you flipped
800.
it. Okay, you're mad for the
Yeah.
Sonics. My bad. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
That's
I sold
crazy.
that
And you
one
were like, he
quick.
got the money, so hit 800, please. Thank you.
Yeah,
Flip
thank
that.
you. Oh yeah, he got the money.
That's
He got
crazy.
The money.
That's crazy. Salute. Yeah, man. 360 standout game. So was it like the Gears? Was it like
Everything.
Everything.
That's where I just everything that was a shooter. I mean, it was just what's hot. You know, I was working in the mall, so you're always talking to people in the mall. I'd always be at Gamestop trying to figure out what I need to play. I still didn't branch out a lot. It was still sports and shooters.
Gotcha.
But this is where I found out that I really enjoyed Tiger Woods golf. Right?
Okay.
And this is where I found out that I would enjoy other little party games. Fusion Frenzy 2 ended up coming out. Nice. What else did I play a ton of? I can see this. I can go verify. I can go to my achievements and see what I picked up. But it was just whatever sounded fun that I could get my hands on. I was out there playing Rainbow Six. Didn't love it, but you know, had Rainbow Six going.
Which one? That was the Vegas?
Vegas?
I think that was Vegas.
Okay, that was the Vegas. Yeah, I remember.
That was the Vegas one.
The one with terrorist hunt and all that, and then they had the yes.
Did you play any of the Ghost Recon, the Advanced Warfighter stuff?
Yeah, and that one pissed me off because they had a gamer score that was like a 1.
Yeah, it was. It was. It left you in an odd number, and I just.
And I was like, that's not it. That was not it. But yeah, I would pick up and play kind of whatever, and you know, work that GameStop trade system wherever I could, and we were just trying stuff back then.
And the thing I wanted to mention, I forgot to mention during the OG Xbox, was like, obviously the introduction of Xbox Live, and you're a sports guy, you know, a little bit competitive. It's like, were you really in the scene going at cats like online? How loose were you online?
All right, so you're going to laugh at this one. I stopped playing sports games after NBA Live 2005. This is before the 360 came out.
Okay.
Because I'm running with the Hornets playing the Mavericks. And mind you, I'm playing online. This is crazy. But I got Baron Davis. Like, Baron Davis is dunking on cats. This is before he dunked on, Kirilenko. This is before the We Believe Warriors. He was still that dude in New Orleans, right? This is like, he looked like UCLA Baron.
Yes.
And I get a steal towards the top of the key, take off.
Turbo, let's go.
Yep. Steve Nash is the only person that's backing up. Right?
Yeah, you about to get him.
Now, after this point, like, I think the Ricky Davis stuff had already happened. So we know Steve Nash is not blocking anybody.
He ain't blocking nothing.
Hey, Baron Davis jumps.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, showtime. Like,
let's go.
NBA Live 2004. Yeah, Live 2005 had the best dunk contest ever. So I'm like, he's taking off. He gets blocked and falls over, and Steve Nash runs down the court with the ball.
Yeah, that's what you be like, this ain't official.
I've never thrown a controller in my life. Like, because of sports, I get loud, but the loud ain't. Yeah. It's just big bark. Don't worry about that. It's when I get quiet that I'm angry. So it had mellow on the disc, right? So I, hit the little thing, took out the disc. Hey, I did not play another basketball game until 2K11 that had Jordan on the cover. It took that long. It took that long.
Because it turned into NBA Jam for me. You're like, wait a minute, I can't do this. I was a stickler when it came to baseball. You could not have anything in my simulation baseball game that resembled arcadiness because it would. Same thing. I had disposable income. I'm not playing this anymore.
Nah, bro, Rukari, I'm so with you because like with my sports game, I'm all about the authenticity. And if I feel that's not real, and because we watch the games, and we know damn well Steve Nash ain't blocking. No, he's a poster waiting to happen. And you talk about BD, I know when you talk. BD was yamming it on cats back in the day. He looked like he was overweight a little bit, but he was
only 215.
Yeah, and he had springs. He was just jumping up on everyone. I remember that. So yeah, like I completely empathize with that. I'd have probably threw that disc. I'd have probably like,
I'm surprised you didn't break that disc.
Yeah.
Nah, that was whatever. The anger was just this. Here's what gets me about basketball games, even to this day. There's things that you get dinged on that don't happen in real basketball.
Yes.
And I get that there's something that's got to go into development to make it work. But like, I'm like, this is not how it goes. Like, I hate playing basketball games and you see Steph running about to shoot a 3, so you hit the little Y or triangle, whatever you play on, whatever floats your boat. And they do that slow load up.
The slow load up editing.
I'm like, no. We want a flyby. Where's my flyby button?
Yes.
And I was like, oh, this is.
Or the keys, since we talking deep sports, like what frustrate me is AI defense always being able to stay in front of you despite how quick your player or how better stat your player is, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That used to drive me nuts. But it's funny you said that. Now this is real.
Or, you know, when 2K gets mad at you, you be like first one back on defense. So your job is to, you know, like see where the ball goes, stop ball. You stop and ball.
Yeah.
And if there's somebody in front of you stopping ball, well, you got first man down.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here and my player doing that, and it was like, oh, you know, leave defensive assignment. You start losing points.
And they minus you.
My guy's 2 passes away. I'm supposed to be fingers in the key like this.
Yo, I'm with you.
I was like, I know my shell drill, dang it.
That's that real sports joint. I'm with you. They be like, calling for pass too many times. You know them NBA 2K be penalizing you, bro.
So when we would play, like with my buddies and we play Madden, so one of my boys, Trey, go to the NFL. He played wide receiver in college. I always beat him in Madden, and he gets mad. But somehow he beats me in 2K, and we both get mad for the opposite reasons. Like he's like, "This is not supposed to happen. I know you're doing this. I move my guy here." Like, we get so frustrated with sports games.
I love it, man. The competitive nature, man. So you doing that 360. So again, every system from that point on, there's so disposable income. You're rocking and rolling. That's cool. I want to transition because we could talk games forever. Like I love talking games with you. I do want to transition. So now, again, there was Rukari, a little bit of, you know, maybe athlete aspirations, but then obviously you're doing the gaming thing and stuff like that. So like, what was the transition to say, okay, you know what, you know, I want to kind of either get into some type of community management or just into the industry? Was it just a conscious decision? Like, how did that transition happen for you?
Look, the athlete thing was just me being a knucklehead, and that, you know, earlier I paused when I said, oh, I graduated in 2004 because I did not graduate high school. We talk about being Section 8 type kids, but I went to private school, not just for athletics, just because that was my dad. So then we get into the daddy stuff.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
You know, I knew what statutes and limitations meant when I was like 7 years old. Like things I shouldn't have known. Right. You know, my dad was a less than reputable human being, though a nice guy. You know, there was a point where, how do we say this? However we say it. Look, however you want to say it, he was just wild. This was just wild. Right, you know, when he ended up passing in 2016, I was like, this man has lived lives, right? He did his little pimping stint. He owned a restaurant. He did all this stuff. I remember waking up and there's naked bodies all over the house and porn playing on the TV. And
Dad was outside. Oh, he was moving and shaking.
Shout out to Boogie Nights, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Right? Then he had to get rushed to the hospital because they said, and I quote, there was enough coke in his blood to start a small South American country.
Wow.
So with all that craziness, his thing used to be, my boys always have to go to private school.
Okay.
Right? They're not going to grow up to be me, even though he was not shielding us from exactly what was going on.
Right.
So that's why I ended up in private school. And at that point, I was still the knucklehead kind of Section 8 kid, but I never took care of my work. Incredibly gifted, incredibly talented, and just never wanted to do the thing. Like I'd argue back with the teachers, like, why don't you do your homework? I'm like, why do I need to do my homework? It's good practice for your tests. I'm like, but I get A's and B's on your test. Now what?
I feel you know that I'm naturally gifted. Why I got to do all this extra work?
So this gets into the sports thing, right?
And talk to me.
I failed a class senior year, survey of British literature. I got an incomplete on it. But Blanchette maintained 100% graduation rate. So they said, you're not on pace. You got to go.
Oh, wow. So for the reputation of the school?
No summer school, nothing. You
couldn't do the summer school to make up?
Not as a senior. No, if you don't walk day of, you're gone.
Yo, that's crazy. I never heard of that.
Was this?
What school was this?
Blanchette High School.
Wow. I've never. Why? Yo, they not playing out there.
No opportunity to fix. No, wow. That's crazy.
That's crazy. If you're not walking on, and you know, we're September to June, so or May. So if you're not walking like May 25th, you're not walking.
Wow.
So I couldn't go NCAA because I didn't have my high school diploma.
Yo.
Which then led to me just working at T-Mobile, and you know, I'm doing the sports things. And mind you, I wasn't gonna be NCAA D1, not off jump, not out of high school.
What was the position? What you was looking at?
See, and then here's the next problem. I'm 6'3", barely pushing 6'4". Like I don't ever want to say I'm 6'4" because somebody who's really at the high end of 6'4", like,
he ain't 6'4".
No, you're not. Me and Steph Curry are eye to eye, but he's 6'3" and 3/4", and I know that one. So I could jump. I'm Baby Barkley. Can't really shoot like that. And I'm not super fast, but don't let me get the shoulder.
Don't get the shoulder lean in the was the post game?
Shoulder on you, and I could.
Okay.
If they put. You know, when I played my little bit in JUCO and when I would play like the D2, D3 type stuff. If they put a big on me, all right, we're gonna run this 4 out, and I'm gonna be, you know, on the perimeter. I'm gonna run by the big.
Yes.
If they put a little on me, then I'll go sit.
Go back, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
oh,
so-
okay, I got you. I see what you was doing. Okay.
But then there was that realness when you go, and I would practice with UW, like with the University of Washington, then you get somebody who was your height, but like 50 pounds lighter and quick and could jump and could do that. And all. I mean, I knew quick. I was like, oh yeah, oh no. Like, you know, being friends with all the cats.
Who else? Give me some
Who we
names.
used to play with all the time, like Marvin Williams all the time. Marvin Williams windmilled on one of my boys, and I was like,
Oh no.
I'm sitting here in the 8th grade or 6th grade watching Nate Robinson's first dunk. So I knew there was levels to it. I wasn't banking on professional sports.
Got you.
But I wasn't chasing anything else. So you
Got
get into college, same thing. The old knucklehead kicked in. I was like, man, 9:30 a.m. class. This is too early. I'm not going. I never went to German class. I speak German. And I do the same.
Rukari, damn.
I got like a D in German, and they were like, "You never show up." I was like, "But I did the whole workbook, and I showed up for all the tests." See, my high school and college experience was to learn that no matter what your talent level is, you just got to do the anecdotal things, whether or not you agree with them.
Good point.
To prove your work. That's it. That's all my early bits were. So when it comes to that, athletic versus education versus figuring out whatever I had to do, it was just more so realizing that, not that my stuff wasn't cutting it.
Right.
I just had no plan for myself, and if there was no execution along with no plan, I wasn't gonna do anything.
No, that's real, brother, and I appreciate your honesty on that because.
Oh yeah, I don't mind that.
Nah, bro, like it's funny listening to you because I like. Sav, I can confess this. Like Sav always felt I went, you know, we and him went to school pretty much from like the 3rd grade all the way to like junior high school, every class, and it was like. I was my problem. Like my thing was coming up was I was talented. I felt I was smart, and I would be the guy that wait to the last minute and BS through the majority of the thing, and then show up at the test and then pass the important thing. And then when you get into a routine of continually doing that, you start slack. And then I look at my brother Saul, and he's like straight A's, like all the way through honor roll. Yeah. Like I never would get honor roll because I would be in that in between part slacking or whatever. And I know what you mean. And it was a problem for me, and I had to break out of it as well as. You got to get that work ethic, right? And it took me time. It's just maturity. It was just, I was just immature at that time. I wouldn't do it. Okay, so you're about to jump in.
No, I relate completely because for me, Rukari, I relate. I was you. I was the dude that everything came easily to me. And I wasn't the knucklehead though. Like, I was straight A student. I was behaved. I was very nerdy, whatever. But it came easily to me. So in the back of my mind, there's a lot of hubris. Like I don't need to work hard. I get into boarding school. I go to boarding school. I go from being the smartest kid in the class to the dumbest kid in the class in a matter of months. And then at that point, I did not have the work ethic to understand how hard I needed to work just to be at the level of these kids. Yeah. So what happens is for me, rather than buckle down and be like, okay, this is where I need to work now. I didn't have an understanding of how to do that or even that I should do that because I was pissed off that I just wasn't that anymore. Right. And I squandered so many opportunities because of that, because I just could not ever resolve the fact that I just wasn't naturally that talented anymore.
Yeah, you got to put in the work. Yeah.
You got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. And it was very difficult for me. And it was, and the same with the sports. With the sports, when it came to baseball, like, I was pretty damn good at baseball, and going through junior high school to high school, there were real opportunities there. And in high school, I really got sort of refined in terms of, the rules of the game and playing properly. Because over here in the Bronx, there were a lot of talented people I would play with in the summers, but it was kind of the Wild West. Guys didn't know what it meant to hit the cutoff man and none of that. It was just a lot of very talented people that
throw
just
the ball home.
From center field.
Show off that arm.
So, and what happened was I took a baseball to the face, and I was never the same after that. And again, it was another thing where I was like, before I took that baseball to the face, I was this way. And when I came back, I was, rather than say, okay, I need to work this hard now to get back to where I was and beyond, I was so pissed at the fact that I wasn't that anymore that I just sort of squandered it as well. So, and like you guys said, it's maturity.
It's maturity.
Maturity and the ability to grind. Grinding and doing something you don't want to do against the grain that you know is going to better you. That's something that not everybody has. But if you do have it, or you learn how that you need to do it, that's a big thing.
Yeah, and the last one I'll say before I get back to Rukari is that you realize it's a marathon, you know what I'm saying, not a sprint. And sometimes it's not about who's the most talented, it's the people who actually committed. And at that time I was not committed to the consistency of doing that stuff.
Sports, not school, none of that.
Yeah, man, I appreciate
none of that.
That story hit hard, Rukari. What I was gonna say, so you're going through the motions there.
Yeah.
Now you're doing the T-Mobile thing. Yep. So like, how does gaming come into the play? Like, how does it come into the picture?
You know, it was space and opportunity, right? So I did the T-Mobile thing until I really went back to school to try to play basketball, played my little bit, never took care of stuff, you know? And again, we talk about that maturity. I just didn't have it. Like, it was fun. Basketball was fun. School was not. I would try to do all the rocks for jocks type classes and stuff like that. And I don't know, like, this sounds weird. I don't want to blame it on my upbringing or lack of guidance. The way they found me to come play JUCO balls, I was playing in a little league. And I played against an assistant coach, and he was like, well, what are you doing? I don't know. I'm nothing, just doing this. He's like, do you want to come play at this school?
Okay.
What school? All right, cool. I can play at a school? Like, it was that sort of ignorance that, you know, when we get into the workforce type stuff, worked at T-Mobile because I just ran my mouth in the mall. I actually worked at Lids.
Shout out to Lids. Shout out to Lids. Get you fitted.
And I was like, across the hall from T-Mobile, so I would always talk to them, a bunch of people my age.
Okay.
They were like, you'd be good at this.
Got you.
And so that's how T-Mobile started. So after I left T-Mobile, I kind of did the, you know, college broke kid type thing for a couple of years. And then, what was it? I was working at the Boys and Girls Club. Then a buddy of mine was actually, he owns a mattress company. Right? So, you know, in Washington State, hey, if the bag tears open, or if anything is open in Washington State, even from the manufacturer, it cannot be sold as brand new. So he would buy them by the truck full. Like all these things that are perfectly good, torn in transit. Anyway, I knew him. He was doing that. And I was like, man, I'm going to go in and help deliver mattresses because my boys were doing it. So, you know, you get off work and then all of a sudden you guys are ready to kick it. You're done
they doing the same thing. Yeah.
So we were doing that. And all the while, all the gaming stuff would happen. I am fortunate to have lived in Seattle. I could go to gaming events real easy. I became known as that first in kid line for anything Halo related.
Okay.
So Halo 2, not that one because I actually worked at GameStop for those 2 weeks in November when it came out. But Halo 3, when they did that, August 2007, they did the first Halo public preview event at the IMAX theater here, like the Pacific Science Center IMAX theater. And I was like, man, I'm gonna go be first in line for it. Yeah. And I went and I was first in line for it. And it was some crazy thing. They let me in to watch the thing twice. And then from release and that on, everything that was Halo related, I would show up to. So I didn't know I was community building, but I became that kid that was known as doing that. And the staff knew me. Employees knew me. Like I'm talking the event staff knew me. Like the dev employees knew me. The people in line knew me, or we knew each other. So we did those for years and years and years. So you go to about 2010, and I'm still doing the little mattress thing. I had done that for a year or two or whatever. And it finally came to a point where I was able to volunteer for the Halo forums, just as a community leader. Right? They're just like, hey, you seem normal enough. That's literally what Jeff said to me. Like, you seem normal enough and you're cool. Like, do you want to come be a part of this bit? And this is like September 2010. I said, sure, absolutely. Fast forward about a year. I had done that. Not really anything crazy, but Batgirl. You familiar with that name? Batgirl is, her name was Kristen Riley.
Okay.
When I say her name now, it's going to become very apparent who she is. Her name is now Kristen Booty.
Okay. Yes.
So Batgirl puts out a tweet that says, hey, she was the community manager for Age of Empires at that time. She says, hey, I need a forum moderator, must be local. And that's all that she put out. And I, you know, it's Twitter. I'm like, yeah, I'm interested. Yeah. And then like 3 days later, she's like, are you going to send me your resume or what? And I was like, how do you remember who I am?
Wow.
Like I had followed her online and stuff. But what I wasn't thinking about is I was volunteering for Halo and Age of Empires is sitting here, and they are both Microsoft IPs.
Yes.
So they speak.
Yes.
So Jess said, you should grab him.
Got it.
When she sees me publicly respond to that. And so Kristen, a few days later, was like, where's the resume?
Where's the resume at?
No joke. I sent it to her, and a week and a half later, I had a job.
Fire, bro.
Which is cool, but I hate like trying to tell that story to folks because I can't tell you the road.
Yeah.
Because 3 weeks later, Kristen left.
Oh, wow.
So the woman who hired me left, and I'm like, what do we do?
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we need people that, you know, try and write something. I laugh again because I dropped out of high school because of an English class, but I was like, I can give it a go.
Yeah.
And I tried some stuff there, and our next CM came in, and she's like, hey, you seem good at this. You want to do this? And I was like, oh, I've never done this before. She's like, you ever do like, you know, social copy or anything like that? And I was like, you mean write on behalf of a brand? No, never. She's like, great. She's like, I've been in this game too long. I don't want to do it. Here's the keys. Let's go figure it out together.
Nice.
And that's kind of been the career path since. It's just space and opportunity.
Brother.
Wow.
Powerful. What up? Shout out to Attic in the building. So Attic, we're gonna get a mic check from you right quick.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. How you doing, sir?
No, last night I was having a lot of like health issues, and I took some medicine to help me sleep.
Oh,
and
you
then,
kinda got
bam!
you.
It's 1:30.
Nah, you good, bro. We glad you. But look,
Sorry about that.
Nah,
Recording.
you feeling better?
you feeling better, bro?
A little bit.
All right, cool. So now, man, look, man, I don't even know. Saul, where do we begin with that? Like, he just dropped.
I think the great thing is that he had from the onset, he had people who were willing to help him. Like you said, like, she's here are the keys, I'm gonna help you. Now here are the keys, I'm out. Here are the keys, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna teach you what you need to learn to do this. That's amazing, man. That is amazing, because just for people to see talent in you and want to help you. A lot of times, a lot of people, you know, in the Twitter streets, you notice that people see talent and they do everything either to not help you, ignore you, act like you don't matter, or it's very rare that you're going to have, and I'm not saying we haven't seen this, but it is rare that you will have somebody that is in a certain position that genuinely wants to help somebody that's coming up to really possibly even surpass them.
So, and it wasn't even for that. It was more so the best bosses that I've had in any role. Don't look at them. I mean, they look at the relationship definitely as boss and worker and whatnot, but they are trying to train you to get out of there.
Yes.
Right.
Like the best jobs that I've ever had have a boss who kind of, you don't know what they do because they're giving the shine to all the people that are working under them to grow them to move on and move up. No, so I got very lucky to have her.
No, that's a great point. But I also want to give you your flowers in the sense that, you know, we're not going to minimize the drive for you getting out and being first online at these events and showing the consistency and showing up so that you become that face that they see and they go, wait a minute, this kid is always here. He's dedicated. Nah, Wiggle, you got to be humble with it, brother. This is a big deal, humble, bro.
I'm going to tell you that was pride. That was not... That was not like I got to do this to break into this. At this point, I was still the little Section 8 kid from Seattle that didn't even think I could be there.
Got you.
But I didn't know this was a reality.
But it was still passion to be there, though.
Yeah. So when you say it was pride, what does that mean? Yeah.
I just wanted to be first in line.
That's it. I'm gonna be number one. They're gonna talk to me. The news is gonna talk to me. I'm gonna be on the evening news.
Not even. He just want to get in.
Well, we did the Halo 3 preview event, and we're sitting there, and I get there. The event starts at 7.
Okay.
7 or 7:30 or 7.
What time you in the building?
10:30 a.m. And I'm like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done. I was like, why am I out here like 10 hours before this event starts? And 12:30, 1 o'clock, these group of guys come, 4 or 5 guys, they're high-fiving, they're like, yeah, Halo this, Halo that. And I'm just quiet, because one, I'm black, and they don't, they're not thinking that I'm going to be sitting there for that. And they go up to the thing, we're here for the Halo thing, where should we line up? And when the lady went right behind him. I was down here looking at my phone like this.
That's right.
I made no eye contact. Hey, me going to events was like, I'm going to get you.
Yeah, bro. You taking it back.
It wasn't that I was out there trying to do some noble thing or break in. Again, I didn't know that it was something that I was capable of doing. Not that I doubted myself. I just knew nothing of the industry.
I feel you. No doubt, man. Salute. So you go on, you get your moderation on, you're doing the waypoint moderate, you're doing Age of Empires. You know what I'm saying? Now, the trajectory, what's the next little thing you're going through? Because you're kind of moving through the ranks at Xbox at this point.
So Age of Empires was a dope one because, again, Kristen left. Jen comes in. Jen says, do you want to learn social? She says, the writing bit, we're going to, keep letting you do more and more. This is how we do planning. Oh, here's a video camera. Have you ever recorded anything? Nope. Let's work on video editing.
Fire.
So I'm doing all this. And then 10 months into that job, I get a job offer on 343's team.
Ooh.
This is October 8th, 2012. The day Halo 4 went gold is the day I signed my offer. And so I'm officially on that team now. And this is the fun one because, not to say I hated the job, I wasn't ready as an adult. We talk about the
Maturity.
the things that you need, the maturity. I was not mature enough to be on that team. It wasn't as public as I thought it, or I had built it up to be.
Right.
And I also had a kid.
Yeah.
I spent that time not loathing it, but I had so much fun with it. It was Halo.
Right.
But it's definitely the one that I look back on and was like, oh, I was not ready for that. I was not ready for that at all. So I did like 8 months, 9 months on the Halo team. And when we split, it was an amicable split. It wasn't even like they were like, we're fighting to keep you and we can't. And I was like, hey, I'm not that mad about it. Like, I know I got some experience now. I can find another role.
Right.
It was a lot of the vegetables that I was not trying to eat.
I feel
I was not trying to eat early on at the time. The kid stuff was still wild and tumultuous too, but left Halo, ended up jumping on Xbox social team. So the first time Xbox ever started to reply to tweets.
Gotcha. Around what year was this? We say approximately, maybe. Like,
well, are you familiar with the term Newcastle at all?
not much. Go ahead,
Newcastle was the name of the tent, the event that went on at when they announced the Xbox One that day, May 21st.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
May 21st, 2013. So that's when I was on that team. And I remember the hush as they were doing all the social listening, and they were like, hey, we're not going to respond to anything today.
Wait, Addict, was this, wait, Rukari, was this around the We Trade Games?
It was
digital?
announced. This was all TV.
Was the announced. May 21st was the announced, or excuse me, the first
the reveal.
It was the event right before the E3 show.
So the temperature is like, we're not going to respond.
Yeah, but then I spent 3 weeks in there, and they wanted us responded to tweets, and you talk about how your brain works and whatnot. I was like, yo, responding to tweets is easy.
Yeah. And
they were like, well, are you going through each profile and vetting them to make sure that you can say something to them? I'm like, this is gaming. Like, all people are weird or do, like weird stuff. As long as there's no Nazi propaganda, we're good.
We good.
And I remember them being like, well, our goal as a group is to respond to, I think like our high end goal was like 100 tweets a day, each person. And I was like, okay, I'm starting to count. I'm like, well, over 8 hours, that's what, 8 times 6, 480 minutes. You want 180 tweets. Something like, you want a tweet every 10 minutes? I'm like, oh yeah, this ain't it. So I spent 3 weeks there and I just left. I was like, I can't do it. What are you gonna do next? I ended up getting a job on the Xbox Live Arcade team. Xbox Live Arcade had Happy Wars. World of Tanks was on the way.
Yes.
Those were the ones that I was. Oh, there was a couple.
I played so many hours of Happy Wars. It's not even
right.
fun.
Happy Wars was great.
No doubt.
I don't even know why. When it came to the Xbox One, I didn't have that like same drive to play it when I was on the 360, but damn, I played that a lot on the 360.
It was so good. It was so good.
No doubt.
But I jumped on that team and we did a bunch of stuff, and then that was actually the team. So Play XBLA kind of turned into this group called Launchworks, and if you look at 3 particular titles, there was going to be a studio called Launchworks. It was Killer Instinct, actually, and Power Star Golf and Crimson Dragon. Those were the 3 Launchworks launch titles for the console.
Yes.
So we were working on those. We had a few different community coordinators. I was on Crimson Dragon. Emily was on Power Star Golf.
Okay.
And Ashton was on Killer Instinct. And those became like my first kind of next gen experiences.
Yes.
So we're doing the normal community management stuff for that.
Crimson Dragon was a fun game.
Yeah, Crimson Dragon was fun. Actually, I leaked what achievements would look like on the Xbox One.
That was me.
In a live stream playing Crimson Dragon. Because, you're working with different builds and different OS builds, and you don't know that achievements are baked in.
Yes.
And nobody told us that achievements are on there, so it went ba-ding. And I was like, oh, there it is. Next thing you know, there's a Kotaku article. Like, what achievements look like on Xbox One.
This is how I look.
Yeah. So I worked on that team and a bunch of little titles, and then I left there, went to HoloLens because my old boss Jen went there.
Yeah.
So she was like, you got to come check out this thing. I was like, what thing? She goes, I can't tell you. And I said, what? And she was like, if you were to take the job, I'm not gonna be able to tell you until you sign, like until your first day.
My God.
And I'm like, for real? Oh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Like, what is this all
Secret
about?
agent. Let's go.
Yeah, so I remember they interviewed me and they're like, so imagine there's this box, and in the box is an idea that could be in. I was like, oh, this is great. I'm here for it. I did some time at HoloLens. We went through Announce and all that.
Yes.
And then the HoloLens social and community team actually absorbed the old like at a level like Kudo Sonoda was our.
Yeah, I remember Kudo. No, I remember Kudo well because I was there when it got announced. And
Yeah.
Kudo. Oh, hold on. I got you. I got to tell the story because shout out to Kudo.
Kanye.
I ain't letting it go. So I'm there, and just like you, one of them first in line kids at FanFest. And I flew from, I'm like, this is my dream to go to E3. I didn't know how to get to E3, but I knew that they was going to do a Microsoft press conference. So I'm flying out there. I'm like, Kudo. I believe it's like 2015, baby. And I meet them, and they like, look, guys, everybody here first in line, I'm going to hook you guys up. Going to get to see HoloLens. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I'm going to be like, he's like, I just show up at this place at this time tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to get to see HoloLens. Everybody talk about, yo, I saw it. The Halo demo, the command deck. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till my turn. So I get there. And Kudo come on, he's like, look, man, I'm so sorry. Kanye was here, so he took your spot. And bro, I ain't listened to Kanye West for like 2 months. I was tight. I was like, damn, I get it, but I wanted that spot. I just had to tell the story.
No.
Continue at it.
Just quick question. Was you with the HoloLens team when they did that Minecraft demo on E3 stage?
No, that was 2016, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, it was
no,
later.
I was on that team, but not on that team. So what ended up happening, Kudo got those Xbox Game Studios moved under him.
Mm-hmm.
So then my old community team that I left all of a sudden got absorbed back into this other group that I was with.
Got you.
So we all became one giant kind of community team. So I was back in the fray.
Back in
with
it.
all the folks that, not that I had left behind or moved on and moved up from, just with, a group of familiar faces. And that's when I got moved on to Killer Instinct.
Right. Now I'm going to stop you.
A few years there.
Now,
Yeah, go ahead.
That's where we at right now because that's what I wanted to ask you about. To me, that's one of your magic moments, bro. To me, 2016, you come out, and at this point, Killer Instinct, rocking and rolling. You already had Battletoads, I believe, reveal. The Arbiter was already a character. And then Rukari hit.
Ooh, not yet. But yes, I know it, the moment you're talking about, yes.
Yes, the moment. And Rukari comes out on that stage. Now, at that point, was that like your first E3 stage call out to do a reveal?
Yes.
Let's go.
But that goes back to kind of the things that we talked about earlier, like with the Boys and Girls Club and Youth of the Year. My dad owning a restaurant. I've always been a loud person. I've always surrounded myself by loud people. It's just who we all are, and it's who I thought everyone was as athletes. You get interviewed and you're expected to be loud and not like you talk.
Yep.
It's that old Southern in my dad. Golly, I remember my buddy that had Sega Channel. His dad used to pick up the phone and he wouldn't say hello. It'd be speak. Like, you know how many times I had to speak up? Like, I don't care, in person, wherever we are. So E3 was easy.
Light work.
Because that's just what you do, right? You just talk. I remember when they came up to me. So they came up to me in January.
Let's go.
That's when they first floated the idea. We could have Rukari up there. My dumb self was like, oh, you need a black dude. Huh?
Yo, used to
I was comfortable with them. That was probably a career limiting move, but whatever. And they were laughing like, no. And our marketing manager, Nicole Fawcett's a freaking genius.
Salute.
Like, she's the reason we had Terry Crews and Crackdown.
Okay.
She's responsible for a lot of the cool stuff, like the Wu-Tang collab
Yes,
with Gears.
that was fire. Yes.
Not necessarily run the jewels, but yeah, she was she had her hands in a lot of stuff.
Dope.
And I looked at Nicole, I was like, they probably asked you too, huh? She's like, they did, and I'm not doing it. I was like, cool, I'll do it. So we had done a lot of stuff for KI. It was video related.
Right.
Like, we would always release patch notes, and I'm like, hey, it was okay. David Ellis, who still works at 343.
Yep.
David Ellis would say, I remember a tweet, and I remember very poignantly, he was like, what about the older people that don't want to watch a video on an article? This is back when articles used to just be the video.
Just be the video.
He was like, why can't you do the video along with the notes and whatnot? It was accessibility was kind of coming into the center. So I said for KI, I said, hey, we always release patch notes that are just long, dry, boring. They're great reads. They're technical reads, though.
Yes.
What if we did video content along with it?
Dope.
And that's where they're like, okay, great. It's your project. Go.
Dope.
So I would have to be in the video working with our creative media team. We would capture the gameplay. I'd talk to camera and make sure I knew enough about it. I didn't know people were watching that internally and like, oh yeah, he could probably do this. So we did E3.
Fire.
And it was the whole shebang. But that was my first real big Microsoft one.
Yes.
I had spoken in front of thousands with the Boys and Girls Club, but never that.
Yeah, that was that, and that because you're on stage. I believe it's the General Ram, right? The General Ram character reveal, Killer Instinct. The building goes crazy, and I just remember seeing your energy, and I was like, oh, this. You know, for me, I can't lie. Like, you know, so as a person of color, I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, we outside, baby. We up here. You know what I'm saying? So it was really cool to see it. I liked your energy, and like. Also, you know, I'm a big fight games guy, so it's just like, you know, so cool to see them get behind that. Xbox, we need to get more fighting games, please. But like it was dope, and I wanted to give you flowers on that because I thought that was really a moment, and I felt, you know what I'm saying, from that point on, Xbox fans started to recognize your face more as we saw you now doing maybe more interviews and more other things, you know, behind the scenes.
Yeah, for sure. It was funny too because you get down there, and again, I was thinking, like, we just do this. And Addict, I'm going to go back to that point you made about that Minecraft VR bit. I didn't know the levels it would reach or whatnot or whatever. But you get down there and they had an acting coach and they have us doing warm-ups. Okay. You have to say some dumb stuff like, I own this stage. And you're doing all these bits and trying to be loud and project. And he came up to me. He's like, you're good. Had you been trained in this? I was like, homie, I code switch. Like, I gotta be giving people all the time. I was like, what you mean?
Freestyle off the top. That off the top was crazy.
Well, and I was like, this is fun. I was like, I'm not, because of the upbringing and who I've been around and my mom dating Sam and like knowing Rodney Stuckey before he went to the league. I still see him all the time and having buddies that went to the NBA or NFL. Like I realized as far as it comes to fame, this stuff is just the same. You're just another person who has more eyes on them. So when it came to speaking, again, I'm used to cameras and all that stuff being on and around. And I don't know, maybe it's because we were always in sales. My dad with the restaurant, my mom in real estate. Like you had to speak to get what you needed.
Right? No, that's real. That's real.
And so we got up there and I did my bit and I didn't necessarily think I was energetic or not. Everybody has to read into it and glean what they want to glean from it. But I do remember going back and seeing that Minecraft bit. And I was like, oh,
let's go.
I guess I can do this okay. Like I had never looked at it through that lens of how am I doing comparatively. Right. And it turns out, and this is, I will fully say it's gloating, but
let's go. Let's go.
It's good to gloat in this.
Flex.
I guess I tested higher in the Nielsen ratings on that than
everybody
else. I have no idea why.
Listen, man, that's what I felt. Be addict, we've had this conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like when you during your tenure, you know, I always felt it was the energy that you brought to the role. And look, since we being honest, you know, my issue was because you had all that great run, but then I remember they brought out and they did Inside Xbox. And I had a problem with it because my thing was like, it was so personality driven and I wanted more like just focus on the gameplay and stuff. But one of the few personalities that I did like was you know what I'm saying? And the energy that you brought to it. So I was just like, you know, my question for you was one, you know, the thought process behind the show, because it was very controversial at the time. Some people were like, yo, why are they doing this? And other people like, yo, this is not for you. This is a marketing thing.
It's still.
You know what I'm saying? And
people looking at magnifying glasses. When that Inside Xbox coming back, we want to talk shit.
Yeah. So it's like, so it became this thing. It was a very polarizing thing in the community. Some people liked it, some people didn't. You know what I'm saying? So my question is like, what was the thought process internally behind it, if you remember back then? And do you think they bring it back? I'm curious.
Do you think it'll come back?
Yeah, I'm curious what the
thought. They always had a struggle. You know, don't get mad at me. Tina Summerford. I'm like, I can say this. It's nothing crazy. They've come out and said they've always had to struggle with understanding that. I think Larry's larger than life, right?
Well,
Major Nelson is a brand. I know that
by himself,
millions, if not tens of millions of dollars go through MajorNelson.com as far as like purchases.
Legend.
Maybe not so much anymore because he's been able to kind of pull back from it. But if you bring Larry on stage, that means there's a certain level of pomp and circumstance.
True.
That's expected.
True.
Graham, not as much, but still.
Yeah.
Jeff, sure. So when it came to planning and executing, the guys knew broadcast production.
Gotcha.
Guys and gals. And Tina coming from TV, like it was freaking gorgeous.
Oh my God. Yo, the setup was amazing. Immaculate.
My problem was the expectations that set.
Right.
If you have an E3 stage that costs thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, whatever it costs, I don't know the actual numbers on it. People are going to expect announcements. You can't do that.
Yeah, we was
every
waiting.
month.
Good point. Good point. Yeah.
And we knew that too. Like we very much knew, hey, this is running light. This is running dry. I don't think people were, mind you, this is pre-TikTok, so I don't think people were as willing to let go of that long form sort of format, the beautiful format, and have something that's not as polished, more succinct, that gives off that community vibe and feel. One of the lessons that I always got taught when we talk about that woman, Jen, who was my boss, is she was like, I don't care about the video being neat and polished. Like, make it say its point. We'll get better for next time. Get it out so it's topical.
Right.
But it can be rough. Social can be rough. And I wish they would have treated Inside Xbox more rough, because I think shining the beautiful lights, the beautiful stage that we weren't allowed to walk on the Xbox logo and doing all that, having Larry, having Phil all the time. Oh yeah, that just made people think it was going to be something way more than it.
That's a good point.
It is, and then it was.
I always felt like the problem with that is you had a lot of people in the PR department trying to communicate to like fans, and I never felt like it's hard for us to communicate with them and for them to communicate with us, because besides Mary Jane Elson, like a lot of people don't even know who a lot of the other people were, and I felt like there wasn't a lot of spotlights on games, like you know, Cognito said, like, and I've always felt like Inside Xbox is a good outlet for the stuff that they have, and I always felt like they never showed it on their stage.
Right.
It was always somewhere else, and it's just, I think Inside Xbox can work, but I do think it got to be ran different.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, a little less personalities, faster pacing, and get to the trailers, get to the games, and have more of a seamless transition. That was my only thing, because I think you nailed it, Rukari. The production value was so good that we almost, maybe it was us as fans expected like E3 level type announcements at this show, and maybe obviously it wasn't targeted for that, but I think that's what the expectation says. So maybe if the format would change. But I had to ask you that because I was very curious to that era. But I did want to transition because I know we're running long. But to now, right? So it's like here and now, senior, you know what I'm saying, community manager over at GameStop. How's that transition been for you in the new role? You know what I'm saying, doing that. And then just in general with GameStop and like how you feel they adapt right now in this day and age, in this time.
Let's see here.
Without getting
senior
in trouble.
Community. Nothing will get me in trouble. I'm trying to figure out, because there's a lot that happened between that first Inside Xbox and now.
Go, break it down. Take us there real quick, yeah, if you can.
Did I ever tell you the story about how I quit Inside Xbox?
Nope.
Y'all didn't know that one? No. So we talk about those first. This is going to be a journey about finding oneself.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Inside Xbox, first couple of episodes happened, and your boy was out here shucking and jiving. I don't know if you guys remember, but they had Larry, Graham, and Jeff delivering news, and I was at the social desk, literally reading responses from Twitter about what people were saying about the show.
That.
I was the only person.
Someone right
unscripted.
Beside you, and it was like a black desk or something like that.
I was at big old Surface table.
Yes.
And yeah, it was fun, but they were like, I was like, what are my lines? They're like, just pull up a few things that are fun, cheeky, you know, have fun with it. And I was like, y'all got me out here as old boy that pulls people off the stage at the Apollo. Like, I'm Steve Harvey in Kings of Comedy. I'm just working the crowd so the actual acts come out. I was pissed. I was upset. And not because I wanted to be them, more so that I thought I had to be them. And I was like, I feel like I'm, you know, when I say sideshow Bob, it's not that I'm the sideshow, it's that I don't know, that I was literally just clapping and dancing and not doing anything of substance of the show.
For what you felt.
Took till E3 of that year. I ran up, and much like running into you guys at PAX, somebody said, "Hey man, what shoes you got on?" There was a group of brothers, and I was like, "What? What you mean?" And they're like, "Come on, man, we see you on Inside Xbox. Like, we know. You always wear a different pair of shoes every episode." And I was like, You noticed that, huh?
Oh yeah, kick game
like,
was fly.
Come on, man. They're like, you're the only one up there that gets up there and BS's and doesn't have to be all stiff and proper. And I was like, y'all like that, huh? And it was in that moment where I had to realize, I was like, oh, I can be me and not worry about being them and having to be right and having to be proper and respectful and deliver a certain way. So that's what kind of took off, and I did this stuff in 2017, and all of a sudden I'm doing all these speaking engagements, and again, and I'll blaze through it just because I know you guys are short on time. You know, being myself, not caring about the athletes or the actors, because I realized they put on their pants one leg at a time, just like the rest of us. And then I get let go from Microsoft in 2019. Not because it wasn't for any performance related issues, which was great because I still got my bonuses and all that. But it was one of those realizations where I was like, I did all this stuff and it didn't matter in the end, right? You do this stuff, and when it comes to just business and numbers, that's all it means. So why wasn't I taking care of myself?
Got you.
And I'm going to Jamaica to do a segment with Usain Bolt. Where the hell was my camera? I was worried about taking care of Papa Xbox, and I should have brought my camera.
For
like,
yourself,
yo, this is dope. They're sending me to London. Where's my camera?
Right.
You know, let me stop. I stopped caring about the companies as much, and it's almost like this workforce shift now where people jump jobs to move on and move up.
Yeah.
It was kind of one of those realization moments where I was like, I gave them 10 years, damn near. And not that they just, I don't think they cast me aside.
Okay.
But it was definitely like it can go away like that.
Like
so
that.
GameStop,
It's pretty much like a creative differences at that point. So
it was just money.
Gotcha.
It was just, they were shaving. Okay, so think of, there's two waves. There's marketing waves, and then there's always dev waves. And when dev waves are starting and you're getting closer to release, and then you get past release, well, that's when marketing's really ramping up.
Right.
And then dev kind of goes into other bits, and dev wave falls, and marketing takes over to make sure people are buying and playing. And then it's different now with games as continued services instead of just a release and forget.
Good
But
point.
I knew a layoff was coming, and I was working on Xbox streaming with another full-time employee who had been there longer than me. And I was like, okay, if anybody gets cut, it's going to be me.
Right.
I knew that. I was well aware. I missed a ton of layoffs. But when it finally came, the anger was just, not even anger. The realization was that I tried so hard to make it look like my focus was Xbox. Not that I was out there traveling the world, meeting The Rock and Usain and Ronda Rousey and all this stuff. I was like, I don't want people thinking I'm having fun, because then they're gonna, get mad at me for having fun. Now I'm like, nah, hell no, I'm having fun. I'm gonna bring everybody along the ride with me.
As you should.
So as it gets to GameStop, as it pertains to them, to be very honest, I just needed a job.
I feel that.
I started 2019 off. Well, excuse me. I started after I got laid off, July 5th, 2019. Month later, I was on stage at the GameStop Expo with Xbox. So I was hired by Xbox to go to the GameStop Managers Expo.
Okay.
And I'm on stage talking about Xbox. I got paid a 5-digit sum for that. And I was like, this hosting thing is it.
Oh, hosting is fire.
Yeah, I was like, this is what we gonna do. This is what we gonna do. I know it was a few day package, so don't think it was like that crazy for 1 hour, but whatever. I was like, we gonna host. And I've already got the ends.
Let's go.
And they're hiring me. We did the Super Bowl. We did a couple other things, and I'm like, yep, this hosting thing, here we go. And we all know what happened March 2020. So I started 2020 was the greatest quarter I've ever had in my life.
2020 quarter was lit.
But the worst year.
Yeah.
So I started and I signed like $65,000 worth of contracts. It's like, we taking over. I'm bringing my cameras. March came and everything stopped. So you go, thankfully I was able to live for about a year and a half. But it got to May last year, and I was like, hey, your boy needs a job. And it just so happened to be, when we talk about all the connections we made over the years, guy Justin calls me. Says, hey, what you think about working at GameStop? I'm like, you've been barking up this tree for a while. Now to rewind, Justin was the community manager on Halo and Gears when I was the kid lining up first in line.
Stop. That's crazy.
He doesn't like to be public, like he's not out there like that anymore on Twitter. But I don't know if you remember the name 6OK. But he did a bunch of stuff with Microsoft. Got laid off from Microsoft as well. Went to Robot. He was working on Orcs Must Die. And it's been at GameStop for the past few years. So it came full circle. And he'd been trying to poach me
for a long time.
And so I was like, the truth was, I was like, hey, I'm not telling him, but whatever comes up, I'm gonna take. I was actually talking to the Xbox third-party hardware team too. And
so there was still a chance at that point. There was still a chance.
Yeah, I was like, whatever. I had just started, and I said, whatever first offer comes, I'm taking.
Because
GameStop gave me the title. So that I was like, yep, we going there.
We going there. And this is, like you said, pandemic. It's rough out here. You know what I'm saying? It was brutal. And I went through it myself. I had got laid off. One of my ex-IT companies went down, and it was just like, yo, what's the next move, right? Like, what's the next move? And you got to, I know that feeling, brother. Like, that, it gets real. You like, yo, something don't pop soon.
That first time the 15th or the first comes and nothing hits your account, and you're like, yo. And all the ladies like, we're fine. We're okay. Look at all this money you got in here. And I was like, yeah, but when it's not going in, it's just coming out.
Preach.
And that's actually what that layoff taught me. Is I was like, I no longer will I have a singular source of revenue.
Good point.
Like, I need to figure out how to. I don't care if it's pennies on the dollar here and thousands of dollars there and 100 here. Like, I need to figure out ways to keep checks coming in because I was uncomfortable.
No, I'm
I
with
have
you.
too much hustle in me to do that.
Me and you the same, bro. That's how I move. Same thing. It was like you were not like completely dead in the water, but you know realistically when there's nothing coming in and it's slowly drained out, if you don't start moving and being proactive to do something, then it's gonna get ugly. And you stopped it before. Luckily, you know what I'm saying, you were blessed that you were able to get an opportunity before it got to that point. But I respect that story, bro, because it's like, that's real life. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand. It's real out here. We smiling, we having fun, and we getting a chance to do the things we do. But the gaming industry is a volatile industry. I tell people all the time, like, it's tough. So salute to you, man. I just love to hear the story of the full circle aspect. You know what I'm saying? And now you back out there, host, you about to do, I'm going to be in Orlando, you'll be at GCX. I seen.
So that was the other big thing is I told them right when I first started. Funny enough, I told them I don't want to be on camera, and they were like, "Well, you know, there's going to be a certain bit of on-camera-ness with being a community manager." And I said, "Yeah, but unless it's my job, if you want that to be my job, just put it in my JD." I was like, Xbox made me mad because they'd always treat it like I should be thankful for it, and like I wasn't just doing all this marketing for them. But yeah, and I said number 2, I was like, I still want the freedom to go do my hosting on the side.
Okay.
So I was like, y'all will never be able to pay me enough. Not that that's a bad thing, but I'm gonna just know my worth. And if I can go do that, and they were like, my boss said, he's like, if you become more famous, we become more famous. Go ahead. And I was like, oh, bet. So yeah, I get to do GCX in a couple weeks.
Negotiation on fleek. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
Let's go. I see you.
Like, you do GX in a couple weeks. Oh wait, I didn't mean this. No, you said it.
No, you said it to the contract, bro. See you in Orlando.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Nah, salute, bro, man. We could talk all this is powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff. Love to hear the journeys like that. The real talk behind the journeys. And I appreciate that so much, brother. I was going to transition to the main the final questions that we do, unless Attic had a question or Saul had a question before we move on to the final stuff. But guess that.
Well, I don't know if you can answer this or not, but I know, you know, in recent years, everybody sort of ballyhooing the end of GameStop. What does that mean? You know, oh my God, you know, what's going to happen to that brand? And you as a person who's out there having to talk about it and sort of specifically connect with the community that's going to either make or break that brand. Has it been? Have you, in your time there, have you seen it as being very transitional from what it used to be, or is it kind of business as usual from what we know of GameStop?
You know, we talked earlier before the show started about not knowing, and it's not that I've tried to be ignorant on it. It's just that I don't understand the business side of it. I will say it's not like GameStop had shutdown plans. Right. You know, when I think of the likes of Circuit City, what else? Blockbuster, all these things that went away. They kind of just did. Yeah. So I very much live every day like it could, but I don't think there is a clear delineated path to going away, if that makes sense, until it's gone. Until it's gone. No business owner will ever, you know, or group of owners will ever say, hey, we're probably going to be shutting down here in about a year. No, they're going to do everything they can until it's done. So that said, GameStop, the pitch that they always gave me, this guy Justin always gave me, even a year before I started, he was like, we're doing fine. We're sitting on cash. The stock craziness is just proof that we don't know what's going to happen in a year or two. But I do know that before that, they were talking about the cash they had sitting on and these transition changes and pandemic messing stuff up. So I don't look at it, and maybe this is the horrible part, as my forever home in the sense that I thought Microsoft was my forever home, and that went away. So I look at it as, what can I learn in my tenure here? Whether that be for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, where are my growth opportunities, and where's my chance to get better?
Fantastic way of looking at it. And one thing you realize, I realize in the industry is just that, like you said, like, sometimes you got to take advantage of the here and now and how you can improve your skill set and what you can get out of it. And we kind of away from the days. It's really rare this time, like, to be with one company, like a lifer for something in this day. And it's really hard. Like, it's really like an accomplishment and a lot of some luck as well. But yeah, I hear your point on that, man. It's very, very valid points. Really cool story. Definitely want to transition you to the question we asked all the guests in the realm.
Sure.
I need Lord Rukari's top 5 video games or franchises of all time.
Halo CE is definite favorite of all time. Tony Hawk Pro Skater. And whether that's franchise or game, what else do I just pick up and play all the time?
All the time. CE, Tony Hawk.
GoldenEye is still another one.
Ooh, best pause music in the game.
Yeah, right. What else we got in there?
Any generation.
NFL Blitz.
Ooh, first NFL Blitz ref.
Well,
Okay.
How about 2000? Yeah,
Okay.
NFL Blitz 2000 is the one.
Okay.
And oddly enough, I want to say Star Fox or Sonic. There's so many games that just have different reasons for turning me on to them.
This can evolve over time.
Yeah.
What's important?
No, Super Mario World.
World. Okay.
Yeah.
The final one. Favorite?
Look, the thing to know about me is I never think anything is good or bad.
Okay.
It's what can I glean from the experience and what do I find myself having fun with?
That's what it's about.
And also, when I started working at Xbox and I would have to be on streams playing games to play XBLA, I got opened up to a breadth of games that I had no idea existed because my little purview was about yay big.
Yes.
So I'm here for whatever, and I know there's a lot that I've missed.
This is your list, brother.
Yeah,
this is your list.
Yeah.
It
has no weight. It's like I guess if I got a pick.
Nah, this is what it resonates
for
with
Halo.
you.
Halo's number one.
Of course, got that CE in there. Respect. And favorite console of all time and why? Yeah.
Ooh.
We go in there.
There was something that clicked for me about the Dreamcast.
Ooh. I didn't see this one. Okay, Dreamcast.
The 64. I mean, it was the first one that I really got to spend an unholy amount of time with. Got those demo discs. It's the console on which I first was introduced to Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
I had a ton of fun with NFL 2K. For some odd reason, even in thinking of the virtual memory unit.
Yes, the VMU.
Yeah, it's like when I think of it, it's holding a special place. That's what I'm thinking back to.
Classic console. Classic.
Those 64 is close.
Okay. That's fire, man. Salute to Rukari.
Yeah, I think we didn't touch on this, and maybe there's a reason for it. So when we talked about the Sega love, there was no, because when you said you worked on Crimson Dragon and kind of that promotion, that's the spiritual successor to like Panzer Dragoon.
Here we go.
Were you a Saturn, any type of Sega Saturn in your life, or
leading the witness?
Leading the witness. Leading the witness.
Asking a question.
Leading the witness.
All I had was a Sega, and that's all. Not necessarily we could afford, but it's just all we had. Like I couldn't. Michael, the same kid that had Sega Channel, ended up getting a Saturn, but I think. With my age, my neighborhood, all that, we weren't ready for discs yet.
Okay.
We weren't ready for discs.
Okay.
Not
too rough for
looking. I remember the price of them and all that, and my dad was like, "Why? Well, we can get these Genesis games for this much." So no, I wasn't able to do that. And I think the Genesis, the Genesis came out when I was 13. You started to hit that 14-year-old. You could legally work, and I was working. I had money. I could go buy games. It became the first thing that I could go do.
Gotcha.
And really go do on my own.
No doubt. Salute to Rukari. It's fire. Let's get these topics going. So you want to get the super chats while I read the poll?
Yeah, we got a couple real quick.
Oh, you already got them lined? Okay, cool.
Yeah, they're lined up. We got Mad 410, member for 27 months. Thank you, sir. Good day, Lords. Appreciate you, brother. And we have Splendiferous, $2 super chat. Saab, you know what you talk about, player? Sports talk. Yeah, sports talk was the jam back then. And we got Necromancer Zale, $5 super chat. I missed those KB Toys, K merchandise days. Running to the video game section, looking at Sega and Nintendo games felt more magical back then. Yes, as a kid, you just that's like going to Disneyland.
Oh,
you go to Cedric H, $2 super chat. Do y'all remember the PlayStation Pizza Hut demos? Rukari mentioned this. I don't remember that for me personally. Maybe it's because I was, I had a modded PlayStation.
Yes.
I'll say that.
Yes.
So I don't remember too many of those PlayStation demo discs, but I do remember other demo discs for PlayStation. Then we got K Asante, $5 super chat.
Asante.
Salute to the Lords and the great guest. Loving the stories. Really hitting home. We miss seeing you on Xbox streams, Lord Rukari.
Yeah, we definitely do. Absolutely.
And we got Dragonheart Yobi TV, $10 super chat. What's up, brother? I'm calling it now. Based on rumors, the achievement list popped up in January/February. Rumors said it was a June release. GoldenEye 007 HD remaster will be announced during the showcase. If not, take my knees.
Oh, he put it out all on the line. He put it on the line.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Cool.
That'd be nice.
What's that?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, last week's poll results are in. The people have spoken with the Series S outselling the PS5 for 1 week in Japan. Do you think the Series S generation of consoles will outpace all other generation of Xbox consoles before it? The winner of the 4-way ILP poll at 54% was I don't care. Little man is outside in these Japanese streets, and Nintendo Switch is next. So they feeling very bullish, feeling very bullish. Coming in at second place at 22% of the vote, with Series S will surpass the Xbox One and OG Xbox, but not 360. In third place at a close 18%, with Series S generation consoles will be the eventual leader of all previous Xbox consoles in Japan. And in last place, only 4% of the vote with Series S will easily beat Xbox One in Japan, but not the OG or 360 group. Shout out to all the lords who participated in the poll. Flame, you got to be rigging these votes. I see you doing something with the messy lord. Every time he's in there, he's rigging. I know you're doing something, Flame. I know you are. Just to let you know I'm on you. Shout out to my man, OneBadMutha, pulling up from XboxEra. Can I get a mic check, sir?
Testing. How does it sound?
Perfect. Yes. I see you, bro. Salute to coming in. Look like we got JD Gamer right quick, so
yeah. JD Gamer, $5 super chat. Rukari, would you go back to Xbox if there was an opportunity?
Yeah, it depends on the role. See, now I'm at the point where the role is right, money is right. Depends on what my freelance stuff is doing, what I'd be allowed to do. GameStop's been very flexible with the creativity externally. So yes, the answer is yes. I have no bad blood. I would absolutely do it. If they wanted to utilize the voice talents, I'd be like, hey, let's build that in. So when I say rewarded, not like paid, but like, hey, you get a good job on your review because you did these things that you said you would do.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Respect. You heard that, Xbox? Phil made the call. I mean, we hit Phil up. We're going to make it happen. I'm just joking. Anyway, moving on. So we got to get into these topics, y'all. So, Soft, man, you're up, man. I mean, actually, Attic. My bad. Attic's here. So, Attic's up.
Yeah.
You want me to set it up, Attic? You got this?
Yeah.
All right, I'll set it up for you, man. This is a big one. PlayStation says half of its releases will be on PC and mobile by 2025. Shout out to Video Games Chronicle, and PS4 releases will be phased out. And speaking during a business briefing, Jim Ryan said he's looking to expand to larger platforms, in particular committing to releasing at least 12 live service games in the coming years. He also stated that the company expects half of its annual releases to be on PC and mobile by 2025. He said they've already kind of had the execution of the single-player game delivery, but they said that he said, but it's certainly the case that we have restricted ourselves to a rather narrow portion of the gaming market. He said by expanding to PC and mobile, and it must be said also to live services, we have the opportunity to move from a situation of being present in a very narrow segment of the overall gaming software market to be present pretty much everywhere. So this one was kind of making the waves. Attic, this is your topic. What did you feel? Why'd you want to bring this to the round?
Don't we got a video?
Oh, we got that's you know what? We do. We got a video. So let's see what's going on.
Oh no.
What's going on out here? What could happen?
Yes. So I'm not gonna be there this weekend, but it's gonna be a great show, right? So my topic that y'all talking about PlayStation and the revenue this year from the PC. And I wanna say, thank you for Jim for putting Nixus to work. And that's my heart. Nixus is my heart. Oh my God. They're doing fantastic work. But I do want to say that shout out to Jim, because my check came in for supporting PlayStation, so I'm able to pick up my boat. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm getting my yacht game together. We're going to be moving. I'm going to try to keep up with Jim. But yeah, PlayStation, revenue, PC, told you, I'm 97% right. Everything is switching over, games of service, PC's happening. Nexus is getting these games out there. Horizon's gonna get there. Yo, shout out to Eternal getting a Steam. We saw the Steam database. It was ridiculous. So what I got to say and what y'all got to do is follow Jim Dance moves and make sure you'll stay in tune. It's crazy. 100%. Bars. King. Catch y'all later. Oh, I love the fact that right now, services is in vogue. Y'all are getting down with the program. And PC is something that y'all gonna support too. Shout out to the team in blue. We know how y'all do. Y'all don't follow the lead when it's on green. But as soon as we switch it over to you, that's how you do, boy.
Who's that special guest, Eric? We got the random king from the beach cameo.
No clue, man. No
I'm
clue.
so upset. He was yelling at me the whole video in that salmon shirt, and then I had a drop of sweat on his forehead. I know he filmed that early just so he could look right.
Yo, we just gotta be.
It's funny how he said he makes sure it's salmon. It's salmon. It's not pink. It's salmon.
That's salmon. I know.
Why he act like he got the boat for PlayStation? Yo, he ridiculous.
Yeah, the rings on. I heard the keys jingling.
Yeah,
like he was gonna go somewhere.
And then he poses in front of a dinghy. It was like a dinghy.
Talk about he got the yacht from Jim Ryan. Yo, I can't with him. I can't with King. So Attic, man, it's your topic. Where we at with this, bro?
It's just, it says what we've been saying for a while. A lot of these, besides Nintendo, these platform holders, they're looking to make more money. And the best way to make more money is to put your stuff on more platforms.
Yes.
And it's looking like, Xbox is there first. It does look like PlayStation's following. Maybe not as fast. Because Xbox, they just jump straight out the airplane. They're like, everything's their day one. But looks like PlayStation slowly indoctrinating their fan base to buying stuff on PC. So it's an interesting thing, because if you look at it, like, they expect a way more return off the PC market this coming up quarter than they did this year. It was like almost quadruple
PC numbers
what it was. So, like, to me, it's just like, if you expect that kind of increase in your PC sales, what you about to do, Sony? What's Jim Ryan about to do? We can start out with Soft, because Soft never goes first.
Yeah, let's all go further with Rukari after that.
I mean, Jim, this is the thing. I've always said this. King acts like, he wants them to go away, but they're making all the right moves.
Right.
It's something that Cog has said. Is like, there's no hubris here. They're acknowledging the changes in the market, and they're doing what's necessary in their own way to adapt to that, in a way that doesn't scream, hey, you need a second job for this console. It's not that. So, yeah, they're being resistant to the day and date, and I get that. The thing is that if everything they have in place works, they're never going to need to do that.
Right.
If these service games pop, let's say however many service games they want to have, if 2 of them are successful, right? And if this mobile sort of initiative is successful in any way, shape, or form. And when I say mobile, I mean, I don't know that we've seen what Nintendo's done in the mobile space. There's some money to be made. I don't know if a core mobile game is what they're thinking about, or just rather cloud, core games in the cloud on mobile. Maybe that's what they mean by that. But if all of this stuff hits in a real way, then it doesn't make him a liar when he says we're going to continue with these big AAA, super polished, super high production value experiences, right? It's going to continue to happen, because now you have all of these other service-based things to support the development of those games, which are more and more are super expensive, and they're going to continue to get more expensive. And us as fans, we're not going to accept a drop in quality. We're not going to accept something that looks or feels lesser than The Last of Us Part 2, right? We're not going to accept that anymore. So he realizes that to keep that, all of this other stuff has to fall into place.
Right.
If it falls into place, I'm seeing that they will never. I mean, we'll get closer to day and date on PC. We'll get the 6 months, maybe. We'll get the 6 to 10 months, maybe within a calendar year.
Right.
But I don't know that we ever get day and date if all of this stuff starts to happen, because they don't need to. The strength of the PlayStation name and the PlayStation brand globally is so strong that, like I said, if this stuff works, it's not going to matter. Like, it's not going to matter all this other stuff that we're saying that they're going to fall in line with. And we've been saying it all along, they're going to fall in line. And that was with the assumption that they were approaching the situation with hubris and were resistant because, no, this is the way we're going to do things. And no, Jim Ryan says certain things that made people assume they were going to stick to the status quo. And you realize that that is not it. So this stuff, again, I got to give it to Jim Ryan. Like, it's exciting because he understands that the power of PlayStation is not in the walled off garden. It's not in just the console space. It's everywhere. And when PlayStation is everywhere in a real way, look out. Look out.
Actually,
so be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for.
I actually disagree. I think they're there is a good chance they go day and date with their PC games.
We gonna get to it. I got thoughts. This is a good discussion point. Let's get this.
Well,
finish.
Okay, let me clarify.
Yeah,
PC makes sense. PC does make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just once they consider PC fully an expansion of their ecosystem and not some side thing. Yes, I mean.
I think the moment you see them drop something like Factions or just one game,
well, that's the thing.
The difference in sales between that and 6 months.
It would be stupid, and that's the thing, right? I'm meaning core games like their first party, their single player narrative experiences. I think. See, he's already lying about the fact that those service-based games aren't going to come day and date to those. It makes no sense. You need player bases, and you need player bases day one. It doesn't make sense that you wouldn't put that game out on PC day and date. So I think he's lying about that. Like that to me is a reality.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So Rukari, man, where we at with this? We're seeing they making the announcements, they showing the success financially of how they're doing, with some of the PC releases, and now this commitment and like the terms like narrow market and then expanding. Like, what does this mean to you when you hear Sony talk about the other markets?
Gaming is the biggest industry that's out there. All the others combined still don't equal the revenue that gaming brings in.
Yep.
So there's nothing wrong with opening yourself up to a larger ecosystem. I don't ever walk into a store and get mad that we'll go back 20 years.
Let's go.
The movie that I want to watch that's on VHS is also on DVD. Like, I've never understood the gripe because I think consoles will always live on in that. If I just want to plug in this box into my TV and I know that it works with minimal things that I need to do, I need the HDMI cord, we're good. Yeah. Great. I've got my crazy PC set up, but I have to go through individual components to make sure things are optimized. There's a crowd for that too.
But Rukari,
I can sell to both.
But Rukari, what about the thought process that having it on another platform devalues your experience? Because I was told
nobody
that
thinks that, but the people that argue online, nobody thinks that.
So you say the people that argue online is an echo chamber and a small representation of what gaming means? Is that what we said?
Absolutely. One of my favorite bits on KI, there was this feature that came out called Combo Assist. Combo Assist basically hit you didn't really have to focus on the timing. You just had to hit the proper button in succession to pull off your combo. It kind of took the left thumbstick out of it. All of our super engaged core audience said this is terrible, absolutely terrible. You're cheapening my experience. I'm going to be losing matches I shouldn't be. And then we got the data from our user research
analytics.
That said, people that had combo assist on average played for like 30 to 40% longer
engagement.
Yeah,
wow. So these decisions are made by data and not just because people yelling on Twitter and being upset?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Say, look, I don't understand why people get upset. You should be happy because you expand that pool of potential players, pool of potential buyers. All of a sudden, you get more content for games that live on longer. Now, are there trade-offs?
Yeah.
Sure. It's crazy to watch a market in which games are released in a less than optimal state, but games are also all right, use KI again. You guys talk about things not working right before they ship. KI's multiplayer, online multiplayer did not work. And if you remember how bad the Xbox platform's networking services were, 2 weeks before ship, could you imagine not being able to play the game that you're supposed to be able to play against players online?
Yeah, that's tough.
Anyway, we are in a world where games come out purposefully unreleased. Fortnite is still in beta. And I think there are times that we're accepting of that, times where we're not. But sometimes I feel like we pick and choose when we're going to be. Like, it's tough to think of Halo as a live service game, but it definitely is that now. But then I do look at campaign and I'm like, dang, I wish this one would have been done. And I'd have my co-op and not have to wait for it. But anyway, point being is that my viewpoint on it all is I still get to play wherever and however I want to play. So I've got nothing to gripe about.
Oh, okay. So you're enjoying your experience despite someone else. That's an interesting thought, man. I mean, this is really cool. Before I pass it to OneBadMutha, I wanted to ask you about the live service component specifically and the aggressiveness there we're seeing. We're seeing now, they're saying, 12 live service game, which is kind of new for Sony. Like, what do you feel? Is it again a situation where you think they may be looking at the trends, the data of the top games, whether it be free to play and that kind of stuff, and want to get a part of that? Like, what's your thought when you hear them talk about wanting to jump in that market?
Well, games are no longer ship and forget, right? Street Fighter was a live service game, though it was slower with its service updates. KI shipped something like 40-something updates. Right. Even balance changes would make you a live service game. So it doesn't always have to be Call of Duty or Fortnite type of live service. I think we as a consumer base just have to shift how we think about game releases. And it used to be you got your game, that was it. There might be a huge one-year title update or a CU that came out. Actually, no. Yeah, CU was when we started shifting into the service type thing. So I think we look at the title of live service and think that means the game has to hit certain metrics, but that's not really it. It's more so everything is a service because it's constantly updated via CU. So I think they can pull off 12.
Right.
It's just what do we define as a live service title?
Fair enough. Fair enough. OneBadMutha, thank you for coming through the round, brother. Always good to see you. Always
Thank
good
you
to
for
talk
having
to you.
me, God.
Always, brother. Always, man. So, like, where you at with this thing? PlayStation making the commitment more to PC games and mobile and to their audience, as well as the 12 live service games.
Well, you were asking about does this devalue the IP? I guess that we could ask that question. What do we think's worth more? Fortnite or God of War, right? One's a AA game that was failed at launch and relaunched as a big live service game for free, and the other is a really well-known IP. I think when people get into the devaluing thing, what they're talking about is what's that value to me when I get in Twitter Spaces and have a console war?
This is a selfish act. This is not about the growing of the company that they love. Is it not about don't they want their company to grow that they profess? Is this not what it's about?
This is all about the sport of console wars, and we know this, right? We know this has nothing to do with the value of IPs. The last few years, we've heard Take-Two, EA come out and say, they've talked about the revenue, and 2/3 of their revenue is just the residual income that comes off of existing games. Like only 1/3 of their revenue is from those games they're selling, full price retail games. And that's where the market's gone the last few years. And I think Sony was smart, when it came to trying to sell a console platform, kind of staying in that lane because that was their business. And it still is to a large extent today. But, they're a publicly owned company. And what publicly owned companies try to do is look for ways to make more money because that's the only way you're going to get investors to keep investing. And so, to what Attic was saying earlier, I agree. I think they're going to eventually come along with everything. Right now it's about, branching out to PC. It's about trying to get into that live service space to diversify. But after that market gets established with subscriptions, their thing is to diversify and grow. Because if they don't, they're just limited. There's no point in limiting yourself, especially when you have the IPs they have. Right? Like
great IPs.
That's the thing. I just got done watching, most of Stranger Things last couple of days with my daughter.
Nice.
That's a show for 10 to 15 hours worth of engagement. They invested 200 that was 30 million an episode, right?
Wow.
Times 9 episodes.
Wow.
So you're talking about 270 million just to get you in for 15 hours to hope that you've just subscribe and forget about it, right? And when Jim Ryan was talking last year, he was talking about him wanting to have 100 million people playing God of War somewhere down the road. So how are you going to do that? Like I look at it, so you got 20 million with PlayStation consoles, and I can see you getting a little bit more PC, but how are you going to get to those numbers of engagement without continuing to figure out other ways to reach the customer? So honestly, I think they're going. I think they're going full out.
Yeah, I mean, I think. I'm sorry, Edgar, you was going to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say, I definitely agree. I think that their prime example right now is they know that, sure, could they get more PC, some more console sales? Yes. And does it devalue their exclusive games? It only devalues to PC gamers, which is a small portion of the people that have both. So are you really losing much? They're still buying the game. It's just not on the platform. It's on the console. It's on the PC. So it's just like, I think that small percentage is definitely worth the investing into the PC market, because for every one person that owns both a PlayStation 5 and a PC, there's probably 6 that don't own any console on PC.
Yeah, and that's it. I'm sorry.
I think that's their goal. It's like, look, like we have a large portion of the PC community that don't own a PlayStation 5, and that's what we want.
And that's the thing too. Like some of them would never own it, you know. And these are people that are new to the ecosystem, and you're getting them involved, and now you're seeing positive financial results. So yeah, you don't want to, like OBM said, you don't want to narrow yourself. But yeah, I mean, I'll jump in real quick. You know, welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. You know, I mean, I've always said this. It's this is where the industry is going, and dudes have been in the chats attacking us for years. You know, when we said this stuff, it's a business. Like the problem is gamers, unfortunately, sometimes let their emotionality overtake what makes business sense. And that's not how business works. You know what I'm saying? They're looking at bottom line. They're looking at works. And the thing is, just because you personally don't like a game or don't like a direction, like these things are proven with analytics and data and financial, you know, that they're money makers, and the companies don't care about your feelings. They're going to do what makes money. So that's the thing here. We're finally here. Welcome. You know what I'm saying? This is where it's going. And I just thought it was interesting. Now, the only thing I found funny was just like all this moral grandstanding and purist talk, and, you know, it devalues my thing and all this. Like, look, I get it. You can like what you like, but trying to shame other groups for their stuff going on multiple platforms and all this stuff. Now, look who's mimicking who. Let's be honest, right? As far as models or certain things. So that's the thing. Just read the room, see where it's going. And Jim Ryan is literally saying it. He's outright saying it. Hey, the console market is not enough. You know what I'm saying? This is not something just to stay in that box, and he wants to expand it. You know, now with the day and date stuff, the only thing I'll push back a little bit on you, Sav, because I hear where you're going. I hear where you're going. And this model way they're doing makes sense, right? You drop it, you have it exclusive as far as the AAA stuff, and then maybe, you know, whether it be 6 months or a year, you go PC, and then maybe after that 6 months or a year, maybe you go into PlayStation Premium. But I will say, if they're going to be aggressive, this is my thought process. If they're going to be aggressive with 12 live service games, to me, it's to their benefit to make those day and date in a service, because you want more engagement. That's just me. So I'm curious.
No. Yeah. That's what Alex said, and I agreed. Yeah. I didn't elaborate on that when I spoke on it. It's just that those are the ones that, to me, make no sense not to do.
Right.
Day and day.
To me, it's like I look at something like Factions.
Right.
And it's like, look about how much engagement you can get if you got this Last of Us multiplayer component. Everybody could get in day one, and then, you know, you can sneak a little microtransaction model, whatever it is you want to do.
Actually,
you get.
I do feel like that mentality to, you know, it's okay for us to put these type of games on this platform day one is what's eventually going to open up the door to bringing all of them to the platform day one.
It's a possibility. Yeah. And I will say, if they see that, and then that's why, to me, the Bungie acquisition was the key one to watch, because they specifically said we want to use them to help us carve out our multiplayer live service ecosystem because of the experience Bungie has. And that was it, because people are like, oh, I don't get the deal. They don't get Destiny exclusive. Why did they do that? It's not about that. It's the long-term goal, how they want to utilize Bungie, because they admit, Jim Ryan admitted, we're good at the single-player narrative experience, hashtag just one, but where we're deficient is this multiplayer live service thing. And to me, that's the sign of intelligence, knowing what you deficient in and trying to improve it. So
address it.
Yeah, address it.
Let's be real here. You know, Sony's not dumb. They don't see the amount of studios that Microsoft owns. They don't. They know the output that they can deliver. Now, sure, it's subjective on if the games are good or not. We ain't seen a lot of them, but they know that unless they start to do something to clear that gap on studios being built versus studios and games they can make, they know that sooner or later they'll get overthrown by content. Yeah. So that's why you see them willing to make deals with people like Bungie. That's like, look, like, sure, we'll be able to utilize the Destiny name when it comes to TV shows and stuff, but in terms of games, you know, they really did that just so they want to come out in this you know, regardless if it's free to play or some type of games as a service, they want to come out in these streets already an amateur, and they need someone like Bungie to help them do that.
Yeah, I think the Bungie moves and shout out to King, the Nix's move showed me the commitment to it. But that's pretty much what I got. Unless anybody got anything else, we can move on. So
I was just going to say, I do think some of the things you're mentioning about why it's important to put multiplayer out there is why they're going to put single player as well, because there is a zeitgeist, right? There is studies about like that halo effect when you get a lot of people talking about something all of a sudden at one time, it actually drives the mind share, which is like free marketing, right? That's how we're seeing the Game Pass effect help sales for a lot of games. Right. And when you kind of like do the drip feed of like, hey, we're gonna put it on the console here, and then we're gonna wait 6 months and try to maximize, we want our cake and eat it too. You end up shortchanging your content that way, because you're just gonna get less zeitgeist. A lot of times those subsequent releases aren't going to get the traction, right? So like something like Returnal, for example, who knows? Like maybe that would have been more popular on PC, which would have actually helped drive more PlayStation sales in addition to the PC one. So that's just something else. I don't think they have the infrastructure today to do that, but long term, I think that's probably a realistic expectation.
Definitely a possibility. We just got to monitor it, man. Good point. So let's want to get the super chats. We move on to the next topic.
Yeah, we got a few here. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. One Away Dragons TV, $5 super chat. What's good, brother? What's good, my brothers? Rukari looks. Canon R5C pre-ordered. Is that what you're using there?
Oh, that's expensive. That's bougie camera talk.
Yeah.
Oh, he went to go get it. Oh,
ooh.
It's that PAX East look, So it was one that the red button gives it away. So when I was walking around PAX East and people saw this, they were like, "Oh."
Excuse me.
Yeah, pretty much that.
You're in high definition.
So we got to chopping it up about the R5, R5C lenses and all that. I picked up the 24-70. But yeah, so we spent a lot of time in the media room talking about what we should and shouldn't do and having fun. I haven't got the mic, but yeah. Anyway,
shout out to One Away Dragon, man. That man cares about quality content, brother.
Yes, sir.
Hey, and the fun part was the reason why all of this came about is because we walked in front of one of his shots on the floor. No joke. Sorry to interrupt this one.
No, you're good.
He was doing an interview in the Devolver Digital booth, and we were trying to sneak out. And again, not a little dude.
Yeah.
And we didn't see the camera, and we just kind of ducked by, and we just hear. Hey, thanks for video bombing me, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah." One Away was saying, he'll say it live. Thanks for videoing me, bro.
Yeah, like because he was interviewing back here, talking to him. So I'm like, "Cool, this must be an audio thing."
Right.
Like, I don't see the camera 10 feet this way. I'll walk through this, and it's me, my buddy Curtis. Curtis is like 6'3", 400.
Yeah, big boy.
And so I see him upstairs, and
in the video
we all
room.
got the mask on, and King's there. You guys are all there, and I said, "Hey, man, I just wanted to let you know, my bad for video bombing you." What killed me is that nobody said, "Hey, it's cool." He turned, and King goes, "Pull down your mask real quick." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Who are you? Pull down your mask." I was like, "What the hell's wrong with you? I ain't pulling down my mask. There ain't nobody." And then I pulled down my mask. Man, I thought that was you. I was like, "Oh, no."
Yes.
That's how this all came about.
He's on in the street right now.
Yeah. Like, put on your mask. Pull up.
He said, "I recognize that voice." I said, "Oh, shoot."
That's vintage King.
Video bomb somebody, now I'm on the podcast.
There you go.
Yo, classic moment. Salute to One Away. Salute to King, man. We had so much fun with PAX East, and it was good seeing everybody in their element, working, moving, and shaking. You know what I'm saying? That was fun.
The funny thing is when we got in the media room, and Rukari came back in. I'm like, "Rukari, come here." He's like, "Well, we're gonna find a date right now."
Oh yeah, Attic was not playing with you.
Yeah.
We had to make it happen. Salute, no doubt. So what else we got?
And we got KO3 Black Truth, $10 super chat. It's only right that we have a King cameo. Yeah, King cannot, he had to have a little something.
He had a couple bars in the top. Shout out to Attic for making that happen.
Then we got Flame, $2 super chat. Sob, come on. Jimmy wouldn't lie to us. # generations.
Messy.
Then we have Tony Bryant, $10 super chat. Great show today. Happy to be here live. Shout out to Rukari for my brother for driving 45 minutes just to call me out for cheating in Ken Griffey Jr. baseball.
That cheat is lit.
I literally got away with it for a decade. That's horrible.
No doubt.
Then we got JD Gamer, $20 super chat. Halo 5 made more money than The Last of Us because it's service-based. Xbox's lead in this area has a lot to do with the early work that Bungie did with Xbox on networking and games on a console. Sony will benefit from that now. Yeah, that is true. They 100% will.
Yeah.
And we have JD Gamer again, $10 super chat. According to Sony, and it's probably the same with Xbox subscriptions, are great, but people into your ecosystem and selling them add-ons like skins, etc., is where the money is really at. So, panel, who wins this?
Interesting.
It's going to be, again, you have to, I think there's a sort of set it and forget it thing where people just have the subscriptions and forget about them is one thing. But yeah, you got to keep people engaged. If the live service game is popping and they, and you're selling skins and stuff like that, that's what's going to grow your game. That's what people want. People want to be able to sort of, customize their experience as they see fit. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Yes, sir. What else we got?
Let's see. We got a couple more that jumped in here. Give me 1 second. Hargeet Shani, $10 super chat. OneBadMutha in the house, no doubt. Let's get ILP into the Halo CGN. Sorry, you need to help out the weekly Xbox podcast. They need the energy, bro. Larry and Jeff are okay, but you could make it more fun.
Listen, man. As long as the bag is right. You gotta make sure the bag is right.
Exactly. Bag gotta be right.
Different strokes for different folks, man. They like to do they prim and proper. I can't come interrupt that.
No, salute to the legends, though. Salute to them.
Then we have JD Gamer, $10 super chat. Panel, with so many single-player only devs trying their hand at multiplayer and service-based games and acquisitions all about, what are the chances Platinum Games gets picked up by Microsoft and given some multiplayer help?
I feel like if anyone's picking up Platinum Games, it ain't gonna be Microsoft.
Yeah, I don't know about
see how that gonna go.
We'll see.
Retweet Scalebound real quick.
Yeah, retweet it. Do that real quick.
Rukari, stupid.
Wait, on that Jim Ryan one though, I want to say one thing.
Let's go.
This is the one bit. Y'all say he would never lie to you, and we talked about him possibly lying. Hey, there are things that are signed, things that are unsigned, and it becomes very difficult to navigate waters.
Yes.
When you know there are plans that may or may not see the light of day, or development changes that happen that change the entire shape of your landscape quickly.
Good point.
So I would say not to not listen to people like Phil or him, but they probably are telling you the truth right now.
For now, for what's going on right now.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
And they can't say one way or the other because it might not happen.
Yeah, it might change.
That's why you see them not wanting to make like definite
these overcommitted statements. Absolutely.
Yeah, at all.
They always keep it open-winded. Well, you could take this 10 different ways.
Well, I'm training, man.
That media training comes into play.
It's lit, man. Everything we caught up to?
Yes, sir. We're caught up.
All right. So this, I think, is me. This I thought was interesting. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like a new book. Actually not that new. It's published 2021. Titled "The Ultimate History of Video Games, Volume 2," that reveals Xbox turned down Marvel exclusivity offer. So it looks like, this was a big thing. And apparently Marvel execs looking to reinvigorate video game IPs to rival Batman Arkham had approached both Microsoft and Sony around the same time. And according to the then vice president of Marvel Games, Jay Ong, he pinged both sides, both Xbox and PlayStation, and said, "We don't have any big console deals with anyone right now. What would you like to do?" And at the time, it looks like Microsoft's strategy was to focus on their IP. So they passed, and then the deal, as we know now, goes down in history as far as Sony taking the offer with Insomniac Games. I believe the people involved also was Adam Boyes, some legends in the game there. So this was making the rounds this week. It's not exactly new information because it's been out, but at the same time, it was kind of like, well, wow, like Xbox could have had Spider-Man, right? And the whole deal there. So let's get this to the table. Let's start with you, Rukari. What's your, you were around during the Xbox One generation and everything going on with it. So what's your thought process when you hear something like this? Did you think Microsoft made the right call? Where you at with this?
You can never focus on what ifs. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep this short, but Sony had the chance to buy all of Marvel's properties and films and whatnot, and they said, no, just give us Spider-Man. And I'm not talking gaming. I'm talking the whole universe, like movies and all that, way before. Anyway, we can't focus on what would have happened should you have done that, because if we all had hit that .com boom in 99, 2000, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about this now. And if we all had Bitcoin in 2008, 9, so whatever.
I feel you.
They missed, and maybe they made the right moves for themselves. Maybe they didn't. I don't know what their business priorities were.
Fair
Here we
enough.
are.
Fair enough. If it was the fifth, we'd be drunk.
Right.
Uno. OPM. Where are you at with this, man? Marvel, Spider-Man, where you at?
Yeah, I mean, Rukari is really kind of onto something. what he's saying, but you know, the one thing though too is like people, if you look back to see where like superhero IPs were at the time, outside of the Batman games by Rocksteady, which outside of Rocksteady, nobody really was able to hit those, right? And Rocksteady didn't just leverage a Batman IP because it wasn't just, they didn't sell that game as well as they did just because it was Batman. Because if we remember, there was a lot of bad Batman games leading up to that, right? Like expectations were low. They came out with a great game that happened to have the Batman license. You know, they kind of set the bar when it comes to what we expect for certain types of combat now, right? Like there's a reason why people refer to the Batman combat. And you know, it's the same with Spider-Man. If you look at like the top sales going back to like the IPs that have sold the most in gaming, going back really throughout all of history, like there's only 2 superhero IPs that end up really high up there.
Good point.
It's Spider-Man and Batman. And most of Spider-Man sales have happened since Insomniac. So, you know, like Sony was really smart to partner. They've made a great move, partnering Insomniac with Spider-Man. It was a match made in heaven.
Yes.
They hit, you know, they hit it was a perfect storm. If Microsoft would have bought that back under the Myerson era, you know, who knows what we got? We might have got Spider-Man looking like Crackdown. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want the Avengers Spider-Man with the Zumba shooting? You don't want that? You ain't want that?
It might not be. We might not be like talking about does Microsoft need a superhero IP? Does anybody need a superhero IP? Right? So it's a you know, and I think even their focus today, it's really the focus should just be on making great games. And if you can find a way to partner a great studio with an IP that makes sense, you know, like if I remember there. You know, there was some talk before with the head of Ferguson was talking about, what was his Captain America, right? Like if he had some great idea, you had somebody like that leading a studio that really had their stuff together and they had a great idea for an IP, go ahead and do it. But, you know, like trying to force that issue if you don't have the studios, if you don't have the passion there, to me, you're just better off going and trying to create something else that does play to the strength. So great for Sony and Spider-Man fans that ended up happening.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that world with Myers, thank God there's no other IPs are ruined under that era. So
that would have been interesting. Addict, where you at, man? Superhero games. Microsoft potentially, not only Spider-Man, could have had any of their pick of exclusive. They went away from Activision was spice. I forgot to mention that. Activision was like, yeah, you go do that. You go find your unicorn after leaving us. Marvel. What you think you gonna do?
What's funny is it's like I understand. I'm more a little bit frustrated with Microsoft over KOTOR than I am with Spider-Man because I feel like that is a game that was probably gonna do well unless you drop the ball completely. Like I don't know. Obviously, we don't know what the logistics behind that is, but it's just like that particular one. It's like, man, KOTOR was on the original Xbox, one of like the key components that helped the Xbox do good back then. And to me, that's the one I'm frustrated with. But like when it comes to Spider-Man, that was a point in time where, you know, Microsoft didn't know what they wanted to do with the Xbox brand. That was a point in time where they literally just out of the Xbox One fiasco. Like it literally, like they were barely breathing from the launch of the Xbox One. So and then like you even just like, because obviously there's a lot of rumors that, you know, they were shopping around who might be interested in buying Xbox back then. Now if that's true, why would you go and sign a couple $100 million deal when you don't even know what you want to do with the brand at that point? So it's just like it like, look, in hindsight, yes, they should have done it.
Right.
But it's not, life is in hindsight. Like you don't have a magical little portal that you could just relive moments. Like they at the end of the day, the best thing happened with that brand and Sony I got a hold of it. Because we don't, I'm more about who's making the game, not whether or not what platform's making the game. And the best developer got a hold of that. At that time, we got to remember that's before they bought anything in 2018.
That's a fact.
They had no one to make it. And to this day, you can argue that Microsoft still don't have no one to make a comic book hero type of game. So it's like, what do people expect them to do? Like, so I'd rather go the path that led to a better brand than the path that led to question marks.
Right. No,
if they would have got it, we don't know what will happen. But Sonic had experience making, the type of Ratchet and Clank games that led to the Sunset Overdrive, and I feel like that Sunset Overdrive template is what they use to make Spider-Man.
Well said. I agree.
So it's just like, I get it. Like I said, be upset if you want. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
be mad.
It's like the better studio got the game. That's what should matter at the end of the day, because it's Spider-Man. We might get better comic book heroes in the end. If we got a bad Spider-Man, which I'm not saying Microsoft couldn't have made. I'm pretty sure if they got it, they probably would have outsourced that. But that's a worm by itself. Like, they outsourced this to Insomniac, but Sony was probably shopping them anyway. They probably knew they were going to own them in a couple years anyway. So it's just like, if they did outsource them in the game and they outsourced them to a studio that wasn't Insomniac and it turned out bad, for all we know, that would have been a domino effect that led to no more comic book heroes being made, because it was like, look, every time we invest in Spider-Man, we have like one good game from Activision. We're not going to continue to put bets on this. And people got to remember too, like, look, Spider-Man's always been popular, but the MCU is what really put Spider-Man in the mainstream, like as far as the movies and stuff. This decision was made before Spider-Man was introduced into the MCU.
Right.
It was before Civil War.
That's true.
Now, that doesn't mean that Spider-Man's not, it's always been an important brand, but I will say that them putting it into those movies where every year it's getting more and more popular, that is part of the things that led to, Spider-Man being so successful now. And at that time, the only thing you really had to go off of is some games Activision made.
Let's be real. Like OBM said, the history of superhero games at that point, weren't really great. And a lot of those was those bad movie tie-in games sometimes and stuff like that. So I feel what you go. I feel you go with that.
And not to mention, at that time, even till now, we don't have a whole lot of like comic book, TV, movie, like annotations to games that actually were successful. Like, we have Batman, we have Spider-Man, that's all. And before Spider-Man, we only had Batman.
Yeah, shout out to them. Sov, you're a Batman Arkham guy. When you hear this news, where you at with this?
I mean, you guys hit it out of the park. Hindsight is 2020, right? And you can always talk about what ifs, but the fact of the matter is that the state of the MCU meant there was no MCU at that time isn't what it is now. And just when you think about it, it made sense. I think what bothers me a little bit about it, though, is
and just to interrupt you real quick, Sov, since they own the movie rights, I'm sure Marvel been trying to hit them up for years before that. They probably knew the direction that the MCU was going to go. So.
Right. They probably had an idea what they were going to do. Obviously had an idea what they were going to do. But to me, just one thing that bothers me, and again, I don't know the logistics behind, why they decided not to, but the fact that they saw the quality level you can reach with the Arkham games and kind of said, no, we don't want to do that. We want to do our own thing. Right. To me, it's like, I don't know. There was no one there said, hey, let's take one of these characters and really make this character our own and do something great with it. To me, the idea that sort of got shot down bothers me a little bit, but whatever. Secondly, is when you look at the reason why they decided to go the other way, their own IP, when you look at what they've released of real substance since 2014 till now, you've had great games in their, Burgers, Fries, and Shake series like Halo, Forza, and Gears. They've had great games there, but did they really have substantial new first-party IP that's come out and made they have State of Decay, which wasn't theirs at the time. Stuff like that, you have Ori, things like that. But at the end of the day, what kind of strides have they really made in their first party up until now from
Right.
2014?
Nothing.
So it's like there were a lot of missteps again, and like Rukari said before, you just don't know what's going to happen and how things are going to shift and change.
And
So
you don't know, just making like decisions like that solve how like it, for all you know, and this is most likely what will happen. Let's say Sony did buy the entire MCU universe, and then guess what? They don't approve half the shit that they did.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So now
sometimes
we don't have an MCU because Sony bought the whole thing.
Yeah.
So.
And you hit it on the nose when you said like Insomniac is the perfect studio to make a Spider-Man game. Even before Sunset Overdrive, their DNA was in that sort of kinetic sort of gameplay, and so to me, it didn't fall into place that way. And hindsight's always 20/20. But again, to me, what's a little hurtful is just the fact that it's like, damn, they didn't really. They could have had it. They could have had it. And the things that they've done since kind of don't justify the fact that they didn't take it.
I'll jump in. Let you finish. I'm sorry. I'll jump in.
No, that's it. So, today's a new day. Obviously, next week we'll find out what some of that future looks like, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's it. I mean, you guys, not pretty much too much I can add here. I mean, same thing. I mean, my initial feeling will still be disappointment when I hear something like that because they had the opportunity. Of course, I'm hashtag just one with this stuff. Y'all know me. You know what I'm saying? I love my, cinematic narrative, third-party exclusive, and I'm a superhero MCU geek, fanboy, whatever you want to call me. So, it does bother me that it was turned down. But then, common sense, and now looking back again with the hindsight stuff, they really weren't in position to make anything, in my opinion, probably quality with it, unless the only thing I find was interesting was the relationship with Insomniac at the time, though, because Insomniac was working with Microsoft. They had it. They weren't under Sony's, banner, so to speak. So theoretically, I know this is a lot of pie in the sky. Theoretically, they could have had the same game if someone made the decision to give it to Insomniac. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
I know that's if and with. I know. I'm with you. Go ahead.
I do think that Sony probably had the better relationship with them to negotiate something like that. Now, I will say it's arguably that, you wouldn't have the same Spider-Man without Microsoft helping them make Sunset Overdrive, because I felt like the motion system in that game was used to make the motion system for Spider-Man. It's like a domino effect. Like I said, because Microsoft went out and worked with someone like Insomniac, gave them the IP, that was the reason that they worked, and they made Sunset Overdrive, resulted in years later them making Spider-Man.
Yeah, absolutely. And all I'm saying, look, it happened for a reason. I'm glad it went to Sony and we got the game we got, because at the end of the day, it was the perfect marriage. Shout out to Adam Boyes and them, the Sony execs, and then the movie influence and stuff like that, what Attic is talking about. And, to me, Xbox at that time, the main problem was they didn't have ownership and they didn't have enough studios. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't have budget.
They didn't have budget. And like you said, OBM, like, we talk about the Terry Myersons. Phil just started. He at this point, he wasn't in pocket, in my opinion, with Satya, where there's a commitment from Microsoft to Xbox at that time. At that time, people were like, yo, are they even going to be in this long term? Are they going to commit to gaming? That was the question. So to me, it's not until
and they admitted to that.
And
right?
then
they came out and said at that time they weren't even sure they wanted to stay in gaming. They did.
Thank you.
Satya even said, like, we're not going to stay in this if we can't find a way to lead. Right?
Exactly.
And it wasn't until late 2017 is when Phil got his. That's when he really became the Phil that we kind of know. And now he's even grown since then. But that's when he started to get some sort of command of the gaming and the budgets and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, I think everybody who's been on Xbox has a right to be very frustrated with all the things that were happening right up until that point because they weren't investing, right? Like it was, I remember after 2017 E3, like we were all basically
like, yo, what's going on?
We were all ranting.
And then you look back at it, OBM, not to cut you, it's just that they just didn't have ownership. A lot of these IPs and the Titanfalls and the Sunset and like it's all someone else's, and you can't control the IP. Even I'm still mad about Rise Son of Rome. Don't get me started. But anyway,
I think, I think that might be a reason I'm okay with it, because if you deal with a Spider-Man, you have to deal with licensing every couple of years. You have to deal with a studio to make that game. Let's be real, they didn't own any studio to make something like that, so they have to deal with someone that can at any time after the contract's be like, we good, and walk away.
Now I will say this: Microsoft now, though, if this opportunity comes across your plate, I don't want to hear about this in the book that you turn this to. Microsoft, I'm just going to keep it a buck, Rukari. I'm just saying.
All I'm going to say, too, is that it takes a long time to right the ship of that stature, that size. And so, were they invested, maybe not as much as they should have been, but they didn't have this in their playbook.
Preach.
From a leadership perspective, from a tactical perspective, strategical, whatever it was. They came out with the promise of, the DRM stuff and all these things. It's funny that we're kind of at the point now, but everybody was woofing about it, eight years ago. So they had to start from the top, get rid of stuff there. And it's the hardest part about being behind the scenes and seeing what happens is you have to let contracts play their course.
Yes.
So people get upset about things that aren't happening, like, all these acquisitions, and people are wondering where the games, and I'm like, we're probably not going to see them for like 4 or 5 more years because they're already working on something. Then they got acquired. They're going to finish that, and then they're free to do something new. The time it takes to get from where you're headed after you've spun up tens of thousands of employees in a singular direction to move. One, it's a testimony and a credit to Phil and Satya and whomever else to say that you were even able to make these incremental changes, but it's still happening. So while I am frustrated, I'm fully like, all right, well, we'll be there someday.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and that's the reality of the business, and that's things that people don't want to hear, and they just want to throw, put the tiki torches up, throw tomatoes, and I get it, but that's the reality of the business, and I'm with you, man. But that's what pretty much I got. Sorry with super chats. And last topic to get up out of here.
Yeah, we got just one more super chat. JD Gamer, $5 super chat. Let's be honest. In 2014, Xbox turned down a very different MCU than the one we have today. There was no way to predict the ultimate success of the MCU. That is true.
That is true. You got one from Dragonheart, the homie Yobi.
Oh, we got another one from Dragonheart.
Yeah, I got him. It's the homie.
Please.
Shout out Dragonheart Yobi TV, $5 super chat. He said, question for the panel: If you had your own gaming company, what type of game would you make, and how would you make it stand out? Rukari.
Hold up, we missed the super chat. We got a $5 super chat from DJ Ors.
Oh,
stuck at work, just wanted to pop in and say some love and hey, bestie. So hashtag leg day.
Hashtag leg day. Hey, bestie. Yeah, I gotta hit that. I gotta hit that this week. So yeah, salute to him. See you in GCX, fool. I'll see you. What's up, brother? No doubt. We caught up, and then we got Dragonheart Yobi's question. So if we had our own gaming company, what type of game would you make? How would you make it stand out? Rukari.
Just like publicizing games. I don't want to make my own game. In working in games, I've realized how unintelligent and how uncreative I can. But I could sell water to a whale or salt to a snail. So what the game is, I'll just go out there and talk about it. So I ain't got an answer for it.
No doubt. No doubt. OBM, what game you making?
Whew, wow, that's one to come up at a site. You know what? I'm just gonna say we need more Mass Effect type games.
Yes,
I think that I played. I think I told you I played that for the first time when that was the 2 and 3 for the first time when that was re-released last year, and there was nothing else like that in the last 10 years. I don't think. So we need more of that.
Absolutely. Attic, what you making?
Probably some type of like XCOM style game.
Let's go. Okay.
Yeah, probably like with Final Fantasy characters or something.
Oh, there we go. Tactics. Let's go. I already see where you at. Soft, what you making?
I'm making an Iron Lord side-scrolling.
Ooh, let's get the bag.
That's what I'm making. That's what I'm making.
Make sure my attributes are lit.
Our bag.
Make sure my strength. I want the highest strength.
There you go. I mean, I think the highest strength would have. Wait, yeah.
Come on. Right, I mean, I gotta have. You know what I'm saying? You can give him power, but just strength.
Yeah, I got you.
The cheese character.
Exactly. No doubt. Yeah, for me, I just want some superhero foolishness. I don't know. Silver Surfer game is a dream game for me. I don't know how you do it because flying in video games is damn near impossible to replicate from a design standpoint. Usually breaks games. But hey, maybe a side-scroller shooter or something. I don't know. But anyway, that's what I got. And then we got, what's it, Doovie? You want to get the Doovie?
Yeah, we got Doovie. Hold on.
Oh my God. Flame said King is the vendor who slanders your choices.
We got Doovie, $2 super chat, 500 in chat. Hit the like.
Hit the like button, man. For the kids, every time you hit the like button, you save children. So please hit the like so we can.
For the children.
For the kids.
Puppy. Every time you hit the like, save a puppy.
Come on, for the puppies and stuff. Hit the like. All right, last one, and then we definitely got to get out of here. Solve, this is you. Our favorite television brand.
Yeah, King's favorite television brand out here leaking things. So the King's Heart, TCL.
King's Heart, TCL televisions.
So earlier in the week, they had a press conference in Poland, I guess, where they were talking about their new technologies. And they were talking about apparently how that's going to integrate with the apparently upcoming consoles that look to be mid-cycle sort of refreshes like we had last generation with the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro. And they sort of leaked out information about what those consoles could possibly have under the hood. They're talking about anywhere from 8K output to 120 FPS, sort of more standard. So I guess they're going to have more juice under the box. They also sort of leaked Radeon's next gen graphics card, which is the 7700 XT. They talked about that with kind of more certainty. So that seems like it's definitely what that is. So yeah. So I don't know. For me personally, when I heard this, it makes a whole hell of a lot of sense when you take into consideration the pandemic, right? For me, before 2020, I would have assumed that this was going to be a normal, more of a normal cycle in terms of consoles, that we would see, 5 or 6 years of this console cycle, and we're going to jump to the next one. After the pandemic, obviously, we're looking now. PlayStation is still difficult to find. Series X's are still somewhat difficult to find, and the S is out there. Even we've come to the point where even the Switch is this year saying they expect to sell less consoles because again, everything is just slow in terms of manufacturing and chips and things of that nature. So it makes a whole hell of sense that we're going to get a sort of mid-gen refresh, which extends this generation possibly to 8-9 years, whatever the case may be. So it's interesting. And again, it's something that I would not have expected before 2020, but this is where we're at. I think this is true. So what do you guys think? Are you pissed off? Do you care? Do you want more power? And the things they're talking about, it's funny because you talk about 8K output and stuff like that. I mean, when you think about a 3090 RTX card, it's still not hitting that, right? It's still not hitting that at the outputs that we're talking about.
Get that 8K60?
Yeah, 8K60. But again, another thing that we talked about, and shout out to Jason Ronald in the times that he's been on the show, we've talked about that this is really the first generation when you hear about the stuff that's under the hood in these machines, the secret sauce, if you will. This is really the first time that a lot of that technology feels real and attainable, and we've seen real examples of that stuff at work, at play. So it stands to reason that these consoles will make better use of those things that we've been hearing since the start of this generation and maybe make those things truly a reality. So if you talk about, AMD's Fidelity FX, whatever, super sampling and stuff like that, 2.0, and, how that can get us closer to that 8K sort of resolution, those TVs that, pretty much nobody has. So performance-wise, I think there are things in place that can make these performance numbers a reality in a way that I don't think was ever true in past generations. So this is stuff that could be potentially interesting, but could potentially sort of piss people off in terms of like, hey, I just bought this console. I wasn't able to get it day one. I got it, 2 years into the cycle. And now you're talking about in a year or two, you bringing out something new, right? Obviously on the chipset side, if these are smaller chips, the yield you're going to be getting on these chips as opposed to what we're using now will be bigger. Just because the chips are smaller, you'll be able to get a lot more from one wafer. So there's a lot of reasons why this makes sense. I just don't know how the fans are going to feel about it in the long term once they actually announce this stuff. So what do you guys think?
No doubt. Let's get OBM first. Where you at with this TCL leaking? What's up?
Well, at first I'm waiting for the King video. I mean, TCL,
I know we should have asked King for this. We should have asked King for this.
I'm not doing this one.
I just couldn't bother hit that man too many times on vacation.
He's out on the water.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to guess what King was gonna first say. First he'd tell you not to trust those TCL dudes, trust their leaks.
Don't pick your TV up off the floor.
Yep.
Don't do that.
Them TCL dudes.
Those TCL dudes, can't trust them. We know how reliable TCL dudes are with gaming leaks. So we're just gonna kind of start there. But yeah, when it comes to like just half gen, the mid gen upgrades and things like that. The thing you already mentioned it, the fact that the tools are still evolving, like this is an interesting generation compared to last, where I think they were able to, at least from a game design standpoint, were able to kind of hit that top a lot faster. You know, games got prettier as we went along, but there's a lot more going on this generation with like machine learning and like these consoles being more capable of things like that to help with game development. And then you start thinking about like the extra benefits you get with the CPUs and the throughput and things like that. So you're going to start to see more game design evolution from there. So I think it's going to be a longer period of time. You add in the pandemic to that, it's going to be a longer period of time for them to really take advantage of what's in front of them today. And then when you go back to last generation, when they were talking about the mid-gen refreshes and why they did it, I think for Microsoft and Sony it was maybe slightly different. Microsoft needed to get out from under the branding that they got with the power with the original Xbox One. But Sony came out and said, hey, the reason we're doing this is because we don't want to lose people over to the PC, that whole PC migration. The fact that the fact that the hardware came out and it was kind of, it wasn't that great to begin with for either of them, if we're being honest, with Jaguar CPUs.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get them frames.
And then you look at the gap between the cost of PC of going from console to PC was smaller at that time than it is today. Now you got all these, not only are the consoles more difficult to buy, but PC parts are harder to get, and they're a lot more expensive because you got all these crypto miners, and I don't totally understand that, but there's people that are buying these and by the boatload, and it's driving up those costs. So I think it's just, there's not as much concern there. It's going to be longer for them to maximize it. And then, we have this other X factor, which is, I think Stillwell actually talked about this on your guys' show a couple of years ago. He talked about leveraging cloud processing, like more hybrid type of experiences will probably start to define this generation. And so there's so much, I guess, room for growth in terms of game design, in terms of tools for development, on top of the fact that we're already delayed because of the chip shortage, pandemic. So it makes, like, this, if they did have it on the docket at one point, it wouldn't have surprised me, but like just a plan in case. But I'd be surprised if really anybody goes through with that at this point, right? It just doesn't seem like the business benefits there. And then if you are going to leak it, for some reason TCL just,
why you don't feel that they're a reputable brand, like for leaking?
I don't think a TCL conference is going to come out with the next Hellblade surprise demo, right? Like,
the funny thing is, I will laugh my ass off if there is some marketing deal with Xbox and
TCL. King would go crazy. That'd go great. Let me get Rukari in here, man. Let's get this last topic. Where you at with this? The TCL leaks and next gen. We ready? 2023, 2024? Where you at?
If y'all ever buy a thing from any place and think there's not a V2 already long in development, y'all are tripping. You've got to be the most ignorant people out there. Like, what? Okay, so here, let's do this. I never worked on the accessories team, but I think, so don't quote me on it, I think it takes about a year, if not a little bit more, to get a color permutation out for a controller.
Wow.
If you take planning, approvals, ideation, execution, getting the factory signed on, samples, approvals again, getting them spun up to go to market, marketing materials and all that, just for a color.
That's a good point.
So to think that they're not already thinking about what the next generation of consoles looks like by the time they have to go to market and create consoles is silly. So I don't care if we get a mid-gen. 20 years ago, the iPod came out, and I was like, you mean I don't have a music on CD? I have it on whatever this is. 20 years. 20 years is both a long time and not that long.
Right.
Like 10 years ago, I was still using CDs and whatnot, and it's... I look at the way that our technology jumps and leaps and bounds, and if they can find ways to do things more efficiently, so be it. I'm here for it. Yes, do I get annoyed? Yeah, I mean, yes, I get annoyed, but it's just kind of the way of the world. I built a PC in March of 2020, and it was at the beginning of it getting tough to get video cards. And I got a 2080 Ti in March, and then the 3000 series got announced not long after. But that's just the world.
Yeah,
that's just it. So I'm sure that this console has been in whatever stage of planning. Like planning can mean a bunch of things. It can mean paper ideation, or it can mean planning with an actual, developer and working with the chipset things. Oh, and that's the other thing to keep in mind. If you're working with these companies that have designed for Xbox products, well, you need to get in to figure out the tech that they're using. They need to figure out what you're possibly using and how they can marry the two.
Valid.
And yeah, you both are probably years out as far as how they got to leaking that. And that's just, it's not their baby. It's Xbox's baby. So they're just saying things and oops, we said too much. Didn't mean to do that.
But they had the whole slideshow. They had the presentation.
It's like
they probably have the presentation. Yeah.
They forget that people have, phones on there. And the cameras on their phones. Like,
Are we ready? Yeah. I mean, to hear about it now, it's probably not going to be ready for a couple of years.
Exactly.
If it's midway through 2022. So if it comes out mid 24, I'm not that mad at that. Or late 24, early 25. So be it.
Okay. No, fair enough. I see your point. I agree with what you said, Rukari. Especially we had Jason Ronald on, and we talked about the design of the Series X and Series S and the iterations of how far they were already working on that next thing during the the Scorpio days and stuff. Like it's always to the next thing. And sometimes as gamers we do live in this pocket, but like you said, they're already with the iterations in the future, whatever planning stages it may be. So I do agree with you on that. Attic, where you at? TCL out here leaking. Where you at?
I mean, I don't know if they're just assuming. I don't know if that's going on. It's like Rukari said, like it's inevitable. I think maybe we should solve the issues with the supply ring we have now before we start doing stuff. Because I talked to a developer it was like a year and a half ago, and they were pretty much like, you'll be developing for a toolkit, and then just one random day they come in with a new toolkit on the old toolkit.
Yeah. But this is the thing, Attic. Like I said about the wafers, moving on to the next gen thing may be beneficial to getting more of them out because they're looking at smaller CPUs and smaller chipsets. So
I fear if we keep giving them this leeway with these mid generations, they're going to be like, let's do a phone model every 2-3 years, popping out a platform.
Who's to say?
Market.
Who's to say?
Wait, what's wrong with that? What do you mean leeway? They didn't promise you anything. Nobody promised you anything. That's a self-imposed reality.
I'm not talking about promising or anything like that. I'm talking about when they come out, they know they will do it just because people will buy it.
Yeah,
and it's just like, I had situations where I was on the last gen stuff. There were games that wasn't functioning correctly on the Xbox One S. That, like I've said it a couple of times, I was playing Gears with Kid Smooth, and I don't know what was going on, but Smooth's game was loading into it faster, and it wouldn't be one of those things where it would like have a check. Okay, we have to make sure both of them are loaded. Our world would load first on Smooth, and they would be coming in on me to kill me because I'm still in the loading screen. I can't move.
The fine print said it launches on your console. That's what the fine print said.
That's all.
As long as it launches,
they didn't lie to you.
They did not lie.
So Smooth would literally have to protect me while I'm in the loading screen.
He knew he was farming XP.
So it's just like, I don't care if they do mid-gen freshes, but it's like incidences like that got to be thought of better. Like, because I feel like when you go into these scenarios, and sure they have years of experience, but they can't account for all the issues they're gonna have once the consoles are out. And it's like incidences like that it's just like, does this mid-gen stuff really work like that?
Your concern is lowest common denominator stuff. I know what you're doing. I know you. I'll jump in.
I get that.
I'll make it quick. Look, it's the funniest that it's TCL, but I do feel like they must know something. You know what I'm saying? They must be some dialogue or whatever. Now they all the way outside with this, which I think is hilarious that it's TCL and them doing it. But I'm with Rukari. I just think it's inevitable. I think the mid-gen refresh is part of the thing now. We've kind of they got their feet wet, both consoles with it. With actually PlayStation was first, right? PS4 Pro, I believe, and then then obviously Scorpio came on the Xbox One X. And look, from my understanding, both consoles did well, and it showed that the gamer now. look, these things are getting closer to PC than you think. And I think there is a market that shows, hey, there's gamers that are willing to pay for more power, more performance, and there's a market for it. And I think that there's going to be some gamers, maybe the common gamer, that says, oh, you know what, I'm fine, it can run, I don't need to do all that. But I do definitely think we get a mid-generation refresh. I don't know if it's that quick based on the supply shortages and obviously the pandemic effect, but I do think it's coming. So it's funny that it's TCL. I think it's hilarious. But yeah, get ready. You're gonna have Pro. I just want to know what the name of the convention is gonna be. With Series X, Pro, X. What are we doing? Like,
what's funny is like names and stuff can be changed just off of previous stuff they did. Because I remember we had a guest or something. I can't remember which one it was, but they pretty much said that originally the Xbox One X was supposed to be called Xbox Elite. But because they made that Elite bundle,
right,
they couldn't use that name, so that's when they went with the Xbox One X.
Yeah, and the last point I'll say is just that you know, even with the controllers, like Rukari mentioned, you know, when I remember seeing the price of the Elite, and even though I'm an Elite guy, I was like, damn, that's a high price point. Are people going to pay that much for a controller? And then, these joints sold. I still couldn't get my Gears Red Elite 1. I was mad. I wanted that thing so bad. But yeah, get over here. I think you're going to jump in before we wrap up.
I was just going to add one piece of context that I think kind of puts, all you guys on the right path. Because, like to what Rukari was saying, even Phil came out after the One X and said, we had a 2017 console planned out, like designed, all that stuff. So both things can be true. Like they could be designing and probably have been. Like Phil's already said, they're already designing the next consoles. They already have things in the works. It doesn't always mean though that it's going to release. Right? Like so they could have had something that was targeted for 23 or 24 that we'll never see the light of day of, or maybe we'll find out about down the road. So there's all kinds of possibilities. So whether something's being planned for, I think the answer is always yes, because they're always planning for those things, especially with as much as they're investing now. But whether that actually comes out and when it comes out is probably the bigger question. And my guess is like TCL doesn't know that because Microsoft may not even be, because even what they've admitted, they weren't sure exactly when they were going to hit their mid-gen refresh last time, right? Yep. So just things to keep in mind.
No doubt. So pretty much what we got. Let's get up all the out of here. Oh, sorry, we got the super chats. We good?
Yeah, we got a couple.
Let's get
we got them. All right. Okay. We have Flame. We just have Flame. Flame, $5 super chat. Says King ain't here. TCL can't even get their TVs right. So how would they get the information on new consoles right?
That was a good King impression. I got to give Flame that. That was messy. Definitely King-like. I will give you that.
Very King-like.
No doubt, man. Let's get this poll. New ILP poll will be going up later with the reveal that Xbox turned down Marvel's exclusivity offer for Spider-Man. Do you think it was the right call by Microsoft in 2014 to focus on their own IPs? The choices are A, no. Xbox should have jumped on the opportunity to have their own exclusive superhero and pop culture game for Xbox. B, yes. Xbox was in no position based on studio health and priorities at the time to properly take ownership of the Spider-Man IP like Sony. Or C, I don't care. Can Xbox please get COG a damn hashtag just one superhero game so we don't have to endure these topics every week? Please go right to vote when it's up. And of course, make sure you salute the legendary Rukari Austin in the building. Rocked the whole time. We kept him hostage. But he held it down. You know what I'm saying, brother? I really appreciate you, man. A pleasure to see what you're doing. Tell the fine people what you got going on, where they can find you.
I got nothing going on. Oh, actually, no, I lied. Hold on. You ready for this? Hold on.
Let's go.
Give me 3 seconds.
Let's go. Ooh, Sonny, what he cooking? I got a bit. What he doing? Ooh, he cooking in the studio. Oh, what's that? Oh, we got the briefcase. What we doing, Rukari?
So this is what Rukari does now. I do a lot of stuff for GameStop, and it's funny. They're renting out my studio, my business, and all that. So I try to get back in my content game.
Let's go.
But I've leaned into the unboxings and
Okay. We got the love. Okay.
This is my next one that y'all got to stay on me for.
I'm on.
Let's go.
I
believe this is what Xbox has been posting about all over their
socials. It's something.
So.
Oh, okay. Something's cooking.
That's it. That's all we
got.
That's all we
got.
It's that Stranger Things console.
We got that Stranger Things. Let's get it. maybe.
And they better do more. They
Yes.
better do more. Yeah, I got lots of wall space.
I'm looking forward to the unboxing. I love the hosting. I love the energy, the interviews, your journey, brother. Truly inspirational and real, like just real from a standpoint of all the things you went through and the self-admission with yourself. But it's cool to see you shine, brother. I'm proud of you. Always
Appreciate
a pleasure. Thank you so much, man. That was a lot of fun.
Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it, man.
Already know. Lord OBM, Xbox Era, pulling up, holding us down when we had Lords absent. Wasn't sure, but you came through for us. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate you, brother. The fine folks over there at Xbox Era. Shout out to Special Nick and the team, Second Keiko, all of them. Where can they find you? What you got going on?
Yeah, first of all, Cog, just want to thank you. It's always an honor to be invited to be with you guys, and anytime I can get here, I will. So
thank you.
So appreciate you inviting me. And by the way, Rukari, I was listening to your story the whole time. It's great. It's great to be on here with you, man. Really inspiring to kind of hear the different stories and kind of how you overcame things. And I think that's a great thing for anybody that's aspiring to do different things in their life. So. Yeah. But if anybody wants to, get hold of me, I am the senior editor over at XboxEra. Although right these days I haven't been putting out content because I'm working on something behind the scenes. We'll talk more about that later. But I do also host a bi-weekly Halo show. So if anybody is,
what's the name of it?
Wants to talk some Halo Thursdays, you had me at Halo.
That's the name. I like that. I like that.
Honestly, that was a show that started because of the name.
I love it. Love it.
So yeah, we got that going on. And if anybody wants, other than that, I pop into different podcasts. So, if you want to follow me on Twitter at OneBadMutha at Mutha, MUTHA_ONE. Just follow me there, and I'm sure you'll find me, popping up in somebody else's podcast sometime soon. But great being on with you guys. Thanks again for having me.
Always a pleasure. Always appreciate the knowledge and the love, man. Thanks for pulling up. Always good to podcast with you, brother. And of course, Lord Addict, Lord NyQuil himself. How we? I appreciate it. I'm glad you're feeling better, man. Thanks for pulling up still.
Doing pretty good. Thanks, Rukari, for coming on. It was a pretty good show, man. I'm sorry I missed the first 45 minutes. So what's funny is I woke up and I looked at the time on my oven, and I was like, "Oh, I'm good." I'm like, it starts in like 45 minutes.
Oh, that oven clock, bad wrong.
Hold on. Then I turned my PC on, and I was like, "That don't say 140."
You looked at the clock like,
I'm like, okay, so wait. You said PC and oven clock. Where is the alarm? Where's the alarm?
The phone was dead. The phone was
dead. The phone was dead.
It was a night.
That was a night. He had a night.
Yeah, the phone was dead.
Attic in the club.
Yeah, appreciate everyone for coming through, man. Next week we are having our Xbox press prediction show. So I'm sure there's going to go a lot into that this week. I will be streaming It Takes Two with my girl this afternoon, so that should be interesting.
Let's get the relationship problems out. Let's go.
She can use the controller, so we got that going for us. Okay. Definitely look forward to that. I'll be streaming on my channel, Gaming Addict. That should be interesting. And yeah, we definitely have some stuff planned for you next week, man. I'm sure it's going to be a pretty chaotic show. I will make next week's going to be a long.
Yeah, don't say that. Don't
show.
Give me Yeah, we know what next week is. We know what next week is.
And I do have some surprises, but I'm still in the middle of making them. But I appreciate everyone for coming through, and we'll see you next week for like the 6-hour show.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. No doubt. Lord Solve, where can the find you? What you got going on, sir?
Yeah, first off, big shout out to OneBadMutha for coming through. Always a pleasure to get your takes on stuff on the show. And Rukari, man, like I gotta say, I'm always super partial to people whose stories resemble ours, right? This idea of where you come from, sort of not defining who you are. And early on, when Cog was trying to give you your flowers about being the first in line or whatever, and you pushed back a little bit and said it's pride, right? But I think we talked a lot about maturity and not being ready for the opportunities that are presented to us. And I think a lot of times what happens is when we're young, that pride kind of evolves into drive, right? And I think that's key to your story. Like, you see the opportunities, you finally were at the maturity level where you could understand where they could take you, and you took them and you ran with it. And then at the same time, you think about, you learn about your own worth. You're like, okay, now I could do this for myself. And I'm not gonna kind of undersell myself.
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
And you know, it's
like when he said
fantastic because
that
at
too.
first, yeah, because for us, like we see you initially when you left Xbox, for us, it's like, oh damn, whatever. But you see how it opens up different doors for you, and now you have more freedom kind of than you've ever had. And now you can sort of write your own checks. So fantastic story, man. I wish you nothing but the best, and obviously we'll be following your career. So
you already know.
Thank you, man.
Salute.
Thank you.
Salute. And that's all I got. Everybody enjoy your Sunday, Memorial Day, all that good stuff. And yeah, next week will be a big one, probably the prediction show. Someone just came in. Is that the last one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to get two.
Oh, okay, get it too.
Necromancer Zale, $10 super chat. Xbox needs more of the burgers, fries, and shakes this generation. No, they do not. We're good.
Yes, we do not. We had enough Gears, Halo, Forza.
Thank you very much.
Look, unless it's like one of those pristine burgers, I don't want it.
Yeah, I'm biased. Unless it's Gears Tactics too, then I might be. Exactly. Okay, continue. What else we got?
Then we got Lord Metroid, $2 super chat. By the way, the PAX East coverage was excellent. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
That coverage almost killed me.
Yeah, we killed this. We definitely killed. We're glad you guys enjoyed it. Shout out to Audible. He's on Twitch right now watching this. He said, I caught y'all moon. That's the guy that does the beats for us. Then you got Necromancer again.
I will say the Ohio cuisine was good, though.
Yes. One last one. Then we got to go.
Necromancer Zale, $5 super chat. Cog, you need to get Matty on board for more of Xbox's burgers, fries, and shakes. Last show when you were talking about it, he didn't look happy. I agree with Matty. Forget about that.
Yeah, shout out to Matty.
Who knows? Maybe he'll be on next.
Who knows where we next see Matty? Moving on. Look, everybody enjoy your Sunday. We up out of here. Peace.
You